This is True Buzz, that Mary J, now we ain't new to this. For my stoners and for my cannabis enthusiasts, never heard a show as good as this. Number one, it's the best, bringing in many special guests in the industry of cannabis. Business owners to growers, even artists you know of. So sit back and just roll up, perfect show for my smokers. True Buzz, hey.
And a huge shout out to Freeze Pipe, my favorite bong hit of all time. The coldest hits and the smoothest rips is what they're known for. And I truly love my Bong Dual. I got to get some other ones as well. And really, you know, from their silicone coils to cooling it down to the percolators to everything they're doing, I really love Freeze Pipe. And if you want to grab anything off their site, be sure to use code TrueBudsTV to grab 10% off. And you know you're helping me out. Put some more money into this channel. Make some more shit.
Fresh haircut, champagne.
Oh, we doing it.
Yeah, we lit. We lit.
We doing it.
It was good. It's just on me. I literally just been running around all day like crazy, so it's just nice to fucking sit down and chill, you feel me?
Oh yeah. It's good to have you here, my friend. Let's bring it
yeah.
in for a cheers before we kick it off here.
Let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Salud. Welcome to the True Buds Show podcast, my friends. We about to kick it good today. We got Pofsky, Charlie Stardom posting up, and we're going to do it right. We're going to start off with a little song by Pofsky, Light It Up. Did I get that right? I'm second guessing myself, man. I was pumping it earlier.
Yes,
Light
sir.
It Up.
Light It Up, featuring Derek King, Kyle Banks, produced by Luigi the Wizard, man. Big record.
Okay, what's going on with my Bluetooth? Hold on, we're going to get it fixed real quick.
Shut. 2 shots at it. I don't need no cup.
Just bear with me. It must have went out when I went out.
You like go away?
Yeah,
like
when I went
disconnected?
outside, it like fucked it up. Well, I'll start it from the rip. It's just, I don't know what's going on. Oh, there we go. Okay.
My phone has been tweaking like that too lately, I swear. Like I just got a new phone, but it's been, yeah. These iPhones, yeah, they got like a mind of their own and shit.
As soon as the new update come, all this shit just start fucking up.
Right.
They're fucking with us.
Crazy. Fuck them.
Right.
But we'll do a take two.
Right.
Let's
We'll
do
bring
it.
in the third cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the True Bud Show podcast, my friends. We got Pofsky, Charlie Stardom in the building, and we're going to start this one off right. We're going to play a little Light It Up by Pofsky. And who else is on this one?
Yeah, so we got Derek King from the Bay Area. We got Kyle Banks from LA down here. And then it's produced by Luigi the Wizard, man.
Let's do it. So rock out to this little 2-minute little jam and hop in.
Luigi the Wizard.
We gon' light this bitch up. 2 shots of the Henny. I don't need no cup. Baby, know who it is. I ain't gotta say nothing. Said she got a nigga at home, but she already don't give a fuck. Cause I like this bitch up. I like this bitch up. Little shot too lit. Yeah, I'm lighting up. I'ma roll up to zit. They don't do it like this. No bitch, I ain't caught up in the mix. So hypnotizing when you move the mix. I wanna hit with no ties. Are you with the shit? You wanna look in my eyes? Told you look at this dick. I know you catch the vibes coming right away. I got dope for you. Get on the floor and gon' light this bitch up. 2 shots of the Henny. I don't need no cup. Baby, know who it is. I ain't gotta say nothing. Said she got a nigga at home, but she already don't give a fuck. Cause I like this bitch up. I like this bitch bitch up. Pipe down, so my time coming now is right now. Lying in the city, smoking shit to make you lie down. Took her from LA, you ain't popping, she want the night out. Poppy's on the Wednesday, you know we got the toys out. G-Lit, bitch ain't no racing, this an AMG. Bloody seats, I tried to tell him what it was, now they gotta see. I gave you everything you wanted, girl, don't lie to me. Don't you lie to me, no, no. Whoa, whoa, cover in that city on that low, low. Bitch, I light it up on my mama, let it go, go. And you know, you can get the vibe if you pull up. Tryna hit the crib, them late nights, give you good luck. You can tell your friends it's cool, I don't care about it. Man, I ain't gotta tell you how I feel about it. Kept it on the low, but they gon' hear about it. You know, I light it up, light it up. Gon' light this bitch up. 2 shots of the Henny. I don't need no cup. Baby, know who it is. I ain't gotta say nothing. Said she got a nigga at home, but she already don't give a fuck. Cause I like this bitch up. I like this bitch up.
That's how we light it up, man. You know, usually we'd have a little something fatter rolled. Like I told you, I ran into some issues, but we got the cannabis shots here.
Yo, this the one?
Nobody.
But yeah, man, it's good to see you, bro.
It's great to see you, man. It's good to see you outside of like a work environment too and shit.
For real, huh? And so yeah, it's been a minute. We've been talking about it since we first met. I know we're kicking it and like just it's fun to talk to you, man. And I just want to know. I know you had some dope shows going on.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about cannabis. We'll see how it works in. But I know there was a couple shows I wanted to hit. So kind of what's been going on in your world, bro, and with your shows, and with that too. Like, do you smoke during your shows? You like smoking before? Like, what's your style, and how does like weed incorporate into your art?
So in terms of my art, like weed is definitely a big part of it, but like before shows, not really, because like obviously it can just make you a little more in your head and that kind of thing. So I really prefer to just be like as on point as I can for my shows, you know? Not to say that I haven't smoked before some of them, you know?
I feel you.
But yeah, typically I like to maybe have like a drink, like an alcoholic beverage before I perform, 1 or 2. Nothing too crazy. Like I've definitely drank too much before some shows and learned that lesson, you know? So it's definitely like a part of my creative process in terms of the studio for sure. You know, when we're in the studio, we're definitely big smoking every time, you know? You know, right after the show, I'm definitely blowing it down right after I get off that stage. So, but we've been having some big shows. I mean, you know, being the magazine owners, like we're doing a lot with the magazine. We're doing a lot myself. And then everything in between. So
let's talk about the magazine for a second, because I thought that was super dope.
Yeah.
When we first started talking, because first of all, you know, it's just magazine's cool. I know you're doing the digital aspect as well, but I haven't held one in my hand, but I was, you know, following you on IG. Mine got deleted recently, by the way, too, which is another story.
Fuck that.
But it's dope that you do that. So, and I'm just pissed I missed the events, man. So what I guess was your initial inspiration to go that route?
So I'm actually not like the original founder of the magazine. So Andrew Mason, shout out to Andrew, is my business partner. He's the original founder of the mag. So he's a journalism graduate from Boston University. He was doing sports journalism for a long time in college, and then just became like very not passionate about sports anymore and loved music. So he's like, let me do a journalism project related to music. You know what I mean? Excuse me. I'm bubbly.
It's the bubbles, man. It's the bubbles getting you.
On me. But yeah, so Andrew started the magazine because it was really like a gift to himself for graduating college. And yeah, I was asked to be an artist on the first issue. And from there, I kind of helped him find the other artists and kind of help put together our business model of selling the magazine with the show, ticket to the show and that kind of thing, full experience. And then we became business partners, and I kind of handle more of like the creative control, you know, creative direction, A&R work, event coordination. I definitely do some journalist stuff as I need to. And then like everything else in between. Like there's so much stuff that comes into play with the magazine, you know, that people wouldn't even think of. So I'm just doing it all. I'm building teams. I'm networking. I'm like our future planner, you know, is kind of how I like to look at myself. So
Respect. And is that how you guys met? You and Charlie?
No, we met a long time ago, just through music. Like really, really through the gram and shit. Yeah, and just Charlie's a really talented singer. I'll give him a chance to introduce himself, and yeah, it's been a great time working with Charlie. So tell the people, man, who are you?
Yo, what's good, everybody? I'm Charlie Stardom, from Indianapolis, Indiana. And yeah, man, singer-songwriter. I got a crazy little resume, but yeah, I do a few things. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We got a bunch of joints, me and Charlie. So if anybody tuned in is curious what bro sounding like, what I'm sounding like, you should definitely check out all our shit, man. It's crazy.
And you got some fresh ones dropping soon, huh? That are in tuck right now.
Yeah, we definitely have a crazy one in the tuck that I was saying on our way up here is like one of my favorite records right now. So we'll figure that out. Also, I don't want to spill the beans, but I will. Me and Charlie have an EP that is unreleased I think we both forgot about for a second.
When's that dropping?
I don't even know. Like,
so, once we get it figured out, everything detail-wise, it's like,
right.
It's going to be gold and solid, you know what I'm saying? We got a bunch of records, so we got to actually narrow down how many songs that we're going to use and put it out and, you know, do the thing. So.
Yeah, like some of them are older. So it's like for me, I feel like I've like evolved a lot since then too, but they're really developed too, so it's hard to say. So yeah, and we the type too where we could jump in the stew right now and cook up like a couple new records. Thanks. You know, so it's kind of like why put out the old stuff, but also the old stuff's so fire. We got the song called "Why You Came," and he fucking went crazy on that shit. Just like he's just a really good songwriter, as well as like his vocal performance. So just like the whole shit just put together well. Shout out to Rula who mixed and produced that one.
Heard.
GM Beats on the beat.
You heard?
Well, and you know this is interesting for me. You know, 'cause I love all music. I love hip hop especially. I love freestyling. I love that. I do it in these mics that I have here just for fun. You know, but like what's like, and I know I definitely have some listeners and viewers that, you know, are in the music world, and people that aren't. I'm just curious too. Like what you know, the kind of process. So you hit the studio. You lay down your tracks, and you got to wait for it to be mixed, mastered. Like what's kind of that process look like for you guys? Like how does it? I know it's a broad question, but like
you tell them first.
Well, it really just depends on. It can go multiple ways. Sometimes it's like you record on the spot, and like you know, you write it, you record it, then you get in a nice little rough mix, or you get like an engineer. Like when I have multiple of engineers that I go through and work with, and a few of them, one likes to do rough and he likes to go and listen and like rework, which takes a little process. For me, I like to just get it done and move on to the next thing and then just keep going. But it really just depends on the song and like the vision that you have for the song, what you see and where you want to take it. So it could be a short process, quick, or it could be like a long, drawn-out process, especially if you're like in perfectionist mode when you're like, oh, I don't like the way I sounded on it. I need to recut this, or I need to retouch this, or add more, or just scrap the whole thing and then like rework the beat. Like it can go multiple different ways.
Yeah, you could be working on something like, let's say you're like a fly on the wall in our session. We could be working on something, and then Charlie might be like, I don't like that at all. Let's just start from scratch. Or I might say this, and you might be like, "What? Like that shit's fire. Why don't you like it?" Like I was just in the studio with my homie right now, and I was like listening to him cut this record, and I'm like, "This shit sound cool. Like it sound good."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'm not feeling it right now." I'm like, cool. You know, you don't force like the process for an artist is like the number one thing. So being comfortable, having that vibe. It's like if you're not feeling it for whatever reason, it's typically better to just like start something new.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of like trying to like, if you can't get something, you know, and like
fixating
on this one thing.
Yeah.
And I feel that so much, and I wish I had kind of more like that I could do that style, because I like edit all my shit too right now. I just haven't hired an editor or all these other people that I need to hire. Right. And it's like that's the way I'd like to maneuver, is like drop my video, let it be done out of my head.
Yeah.
Right.
Because then I'm like, oh fuck, I gotta edit that shit. I gotta worry about that. I gotta do a cut. I gotta do this. It's like if it could be done out of my head, like I made this, it's done.
Yeah.
Let somebody else work on it.
Right.
Is a beautiful level that I'm trying to hit. I'm just not like there yet.
It's just the flow,
It's
right?
definitely flow.
Yeah, flow and experience and anything. And,
Yeah.
you know, like with us, with music, we've been working for so long. Like he said, different engineers have different styles. Like I have one engineer I used to work with, Rula, and he, like, we would have a 4-hour session for one song every time. Like that's just how our workflow was, you know? But like with my boy GM, I could pump out a song an hour, you know, depending on how I'm feeling.
Right.
So it just depends. It depends on the vibe. It depends on the song, the day, what we drinking, what we smoking, right? Just there's so many factors. Like what my girl talked about earlier, like whatever is going on is gonna be in that. But
It's freedom when you're there, though, huh? That's how I
Exactly.
feel when I'm doing my video shit. I'm like nothing else. Like right now, it's kicking with you guys. Like,
Right.
Everything else melts away.
yeah,
Exactly.
That's the real shit.
exactly.
For real. For real.
On me. And yeah, even like to speak a little on my process as an artist recording, like I started writing everything. So like when I was like 14 and started being a rapper, I was sitting in my room writing 16s, which means like a 16-bar verse, right? Like just all day, just pumping them out. And then I go to the studio, I would have them memorized. I wouldn't need to write. I wouldn't need to read it, you know? Now I go to the studio with nothing prepared. Always. Like that's like my process now. I go, I just punch in, meaning like I do line by line. So like if you put on a beat, I'll get the melody, and then I'll put the words to it, you know, and then I'll go line by line by line. And even if I write out 4 bars, I'll record each line so I can perfect each line, you know. So I used to just go in and I'm rapping and spit the whole verse, and now I'm like focus on each thing to make it perfect. So and that comes with having a good engineer that can keep up with your workflow, because if you got to tell the engineer like right, like there's nothing worse than trying to like babysit your engineer.
Yeah.
You
That was a question I was gonna ask. Is like, what's like the couple things you look for in an engineer?
Oh man.
I mean, they got to be
Workflow.
eye on the ball. They
Yeah.
got to be in tune, right? They got to know your stop,
yes.
or at least
At
be
least
there in the
kinda how
moment,
they-
feeling it.
Yeah.
Be
Get an
able
idea.
to adapt to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So there's been a few times where I've had a few engineers that couldn't keep up, and I was like, just scoot over. I got you. Get in there and move things around, because I know how to do it, but I just work faster when I have somebody just pressing the buttons, doing it, and I just like, oh, let me dub this, like get a double take of what I just did, or, you know, let me get some stacks and do it that way. But sometimes they like don't understand, and like they're new, so they like don't know how to work with me yet. So I was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do, and I have to like break it down and show them. But you know, it just goes with like the vibe of the studio and like how it works with the artist and the engineer. It's always different.
Right. And like he's a singer, right? And like I'm more of like a rapper, but I use auto-tune, right? So like correct me if I'm wrong, like do you even use auto-tune a lot of the time? Like
Not when I'm tracking. I put it on after.
Okay.
Once I'm finished, then I throw it on just for effect. Sometimes I like have it like very little auto-tune just to keep it in, you know, in the key and make sure it sounds crispy. But
right.
then there's times when I turn it all the way up.
Right.
T-Pain, like Wayne style. Like I don't know. It's just depending on the track. It's always different. So.
Right. And I heard you say some one time, I think to GM or someone, about like chromatics.
Oh, chromatic, absolutely.
Like-
Because with me, when I sing, I don't sing like straight notes. I move in between notes. And sometimes when you do that and you got the tune on it, don't catch it, and it makes it sound like off pitch.
Right.
So in order for me to like have it right, I like tell them instantly, just put it in chromatic, because I can't even listen to it.
Right.
It's
See,
like
and that's that type of like articulation he can make, because he
Yeah.
knows what he's talking. Like I don't know as much about the engineering side of things, so I'm just like, that doesn't sound right. I don't know how to articulate it. So it takes a good engineer to be like, know
Right.
what I'm saying without saying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. They're anticipating your next move, I guess. Is that
exactly.
Yeah.
and that's super important, I think, for stuff I've done with video. Is like, yo, I shouldn't have to ask you, bro, to like move the camera, or if we know the next shot's coming up, like just move that shit.
Yeah.
Right. Be
Yeah.
proactive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well put.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you know what I feel too in like my process of just video and just being creative is like sometimes, and that's, I guess it's a question I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it right now as I'm talking, but it's like, you know, some of the best shit I've done is me like forcing myself to do it, or maybe I didn't even really want to be there at the time. Like I wanted to be there, but I'm like, okay, let's just do this. I don't even know what I'm gonna do.
Right.
Like, so have there been studio sessions, I imagine, for you guys where it's like, I got to be at the studio today, I got it booked, I don't necessarily know what I'm gonna do, and then that's when, like, when some fire happens.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Every single time. Literally, like you go in there and you like, all right, I know I got 4 hours. I don't know what I'm doing, but we're gonna figure something out. And that's when you crank out some crazy shit that you had no idea you was gonna make that day, which is crazy, but yeah, it happens.
It's like literally a knowing. Like now I just know I go into the studio and I might be a little concerned. I don't know what's gonna happen. I have a big artist here. We're doing a song together. Like it's a lot of pressure.
Right.
But just be in it. You've done it a million times. You know you're gonna do it again. You know.
Right.
Type shit. Confidence.
Plus, confidence is huge.
Yeah.
You walk in and be like, fuck, I don't care what we doing. We're gonna make a smash today.
Right.
And you just know.
Yeah, just knowing you can do it. For real.
And being willing to put in those reps and that work, and just being open to it. Like,
That's a fact.
being willing to be like, all right, I fucked that one up. Well, but it's gonna be dope. I know it's gonna be a dope day. I mean, that's how I feel. I'm like, okay, that was but then I say that, and I'll go back and like watch my shit. I'm like, oh, that was actually, and then I'll stop myself mid take for, oh, that's a trash take, and then I'll rewatch my shit, and I'm like, oh, this is good, and I'm like, why did I fucking stop myself?
Right.
Like I was doing pretty
It's
good. I
just
just got my own head.
overthinking.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Which we all do.
Yeah.
I do that all the time when I'm recording. Like we was talking about getting fixated on one line. Like sometimes I'll just end up on one line. And it's like we both are great songwriters. We could be sitting in the studio. I'm stuck on one line. He might just be like, I don't know the line either. It's happened to us
A bunch.
a bunch of times. It happens to That's why big artists have writers. Because like
Let's talk about that for a second.
yeah.
Because I feel like that's like the elephant in the room a lot for hip hop. You know, my outside just loving hip hop, growing up, listening to is like, I respect the ghostwriting game, but also when I hear some of my favorite artists that I didn't realize had ghostwriters for so long, I also do lose a little respect personally.
Yeah.
And no hate, no shade. Yeah. The fact of the matter is, if you're willing, if you can take, and that's my problem with people throwing shade at it, is it's like, dude, that's what any fucking great actor does. They literally read a script and they make it theirs.
Right.
So there's something truly powerful about that. That should not be underestimated. You have to be a top tier caliber talent to be able to do that.
Right.
But it does hit me a little weird when I thought like, I'll be like, oh shit, I thought that was.
Well, just to kind of give it a little perspective, it's not always like cut and dry. Like it's not black and white. Like just because Charlie's recording a song that I might be helping him songwrite or vice versa, it doesn't mean I literally wrote every line, right? It's like music is a very collaborative thing.
Exactly.
So I could be like in the studio with Charlie and he could be working on his chorus or the hook, they would call it. And let's say he did it all, didn't need any help. Great. And maybe I could be working on my verse and I do all of it good, but the last line I'm stuck on. Charlie might help me come up with the last line, you know? So it's like, that's what I kind of meant by bringing up the point of writers. It's like, if Chris Brown is in the studio, and I've never been in the studio with Chris Brown, but he has a lot more experience with ghostwriting with these kinds of situations, so we'll give him the floor on that. But I would imagine Chris Brown in the studio, same thing like when I'm in the studio. He's flowing. Chris Brown can make his own lyrics, but he gets stuck sometimes. And having talented writers on hand in your studio session to be like, say that, say that, say that, it just makes your process good. You're never wasting time. You're not, you know?
Or burning out.
Right, burning out yourself, being like, fuck, what is it? It's like when you can't think of that line and someone gives you the perfect line, it's like it's a reassuring, boosts you back up. Like, all right, we got this.
And that's why I'm happy we're talking about this, because I feel like more people need to hear this, you know?
Yeah, people would
because
never
it's
know.
like, because it's like you people hear it and they think, like you said, like, oh, they wrote the whole song or whatever. I didn't necessarily think that. Right. I think it's a collaborative thing, but I feel like, you know, same thing with film. It's such a collaborative art. There's, you know, you see the credits of the shit roll by, or I feel like that needs to be put more in the air maybe for I mean, obviously musicians know it, but outside people maybe don't. Same with film too. Like, oh, well, this actor did it all. It's like, nah, he had a script. He had all his shit he was doing.
10,
he had
20
a whole
people
team.
wrote the script.
Yeah,
right,
he had a whole
whatever.
team. And So yeah, it's just interesting. I don't even know exactly where I'm going with this, but it's just an interesting thought that I have thought about, and I feel like it's a thing where that there's people that come off hateful about it almost.
For sure.
Especially with rappers, it's like
Yeah.
super critical when
Because
it
you
comes
hear
to
it,
rappers.
Yeah, with the
But
rappers,
yeah,
right?
it's not far-fetched to have R&B song and they have like 10 writers on it, or 6 writers or 3 writers. It's like, okay, we get it for the R&B people, but like with the rappers, they be like, oh, you had somebody help you. I think it's cool. I think it's dope because some writers, some artists get burnt out. They write everything, and like sometimes it's good to have creative brains to help you kind of take a little edge off and give you something. And this is a different sound. You don't want all your stuff sounding exactly the same because you wrote all the songs. You got an album with 12 songs and every single song sounds the same. It's just good to have a variety of sound. That's what I like to call it, a variety of sound. You just get different people to help you expand on your ideas. I think
Well,
that's
and
beautiful.
and with that too, sorry to cut you off if I did. It shows something cool though too to me, is like it shows that you're open for collaboration. You're open for other people's input. It's like you're not all like ego, like yo, my shit's the best shit.
Right.
Hey, like maybe you give me a line, maybe that line's dope. Okay, I'll rock with it.
Exactly.
So like there's something cool with that, being open about like just learning and being with people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Collaborating. The collaborative process is
Right. And speak on like some of that shit you done, like ghostwriting wise, like just let my boy know, 'cause I just want him to understand, okay?
I'm trying to.
Right.
Because
Nah,
this man's done some dope work, man.
It's oh man, I don't even know where to begin. But on the songwriting side, it's always something like you got different people that do different things. So you got people that do melodies and they only do melody takes, and then you got people that do the words. They come in and put the words on top of the melody. So you got 2 different kinds of multiple styles of the writing that you could do. I've been in sessions where I've done just melodies, takes, and then people put words on top of my melodies. Or I've done the opposite where I've actually got words. I put words on top of somebody else's melodies. And, it's just like a team effort, if you will. It takes really a village to really make a whole... damn, I just got lost in what I was about to say.
Whole record, yeah.
To make a whole record, obviously, but the collaborative process is always great. I feel like any artist can do it by themselves, but to be honest, it's more fun when you have people to help bring your ideas to life and make it just the best it possibly can be. Like Beyonce and like all these people, like Kanye, and he gets all these people in the room and just write and be like, what you got? Let me hear what you got. And be like, oh, that's fire. I'm gonna use that, not for this song, but something else. And
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, damn, that's kind of fire. How it works like that, but yeah, it's always different.
Yeah, no, for sure. And even something cool that Charlie is like really talented with is like harmonies, they call it, right? So like putting behind, like I've done records where I'm just like rapping on the song, but then Charlie would just add this sauce under it of just like the vocal harmonies to put under my words or anybody's words.
Yeah.
And so he's done that with like big records and like
Vocal textures and shit like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Stuff that you
okay.
wouldn't even notice. But
that you
it's
gotta
there,
use when you
know?
listen to it again, or you put your headphones on.
Yeah.
And you're okay, shit.
It
It's
really
small
adds.
little touches to make it complete. Like,
Yeah.
because some songs are like dope. They got the whole thing, and it's like, it's just one thing you missing. And be like, what? And then you put it on there, and be like, oh wow, that's fire. I didn't even know. Like,
Literally.
that makes sense. I was like, yeah, it's just that one small detail that makes it big. Like, you know what I'm saying? But
Like you want your records to feel full, but
Yeah.
not
It's like,
like
a
crowded. you
yeah,
know?
it's like a through line they didn't even know was there.
right.
Yeah.
Oh
Facts.
shit, you just and they got to be open to, and
Oh,
it's
exactly.
sick though that that's why I'm so excited having this conversation, because I feel like it's so underestimated. The collaborative effort in most shit is underestimated, I think. And I think the general population, I'm talking on my ass here, but it's like, oh, like I know we said Lil Wayne earlier, whoever, Jordan Lucas or whoever, whatever, any name. It's like, oh, they just did that. Like that's almost the vibe it has.
Right.
It's like the underlying work of how many pieces went into that is. And that's probably
Yeah.
me not diving into the, that element more. I'm sure there's tons of podcasts, engineers
yeah.
talking and all that.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting to me, to
It's
hear.
not the front line thing
Yeah.
always.
So what artist when you're talking about the vocals and adding stuff into, who I've been diving back into lately, who I've always really liked as an artist, is Kevin Gates. And he always had, at first when I first heard him so many years ago, I thought he was like, I didn't realize that was his actual voice.
Yeah.
And then he adds these little fucking pops in his song, because I've listened to his shit over lately, and he adds these little backup vocals in.
Yeah.
And he has these little sound effects that I'm like you're saying, it adds that element, because it's like, I'm like, and then I'm listening to that more now. I'm like, damn, he's fucking good at that.
Yeah, he's a good like overall song creator. Kevin Gates, crazy.
Yeah, he's the one of the ones.
He's rapping, he melodic.
Yeah.
He like.
I was gonna say Travis Scott too.
For sure.
I need to listen to more Travis Scott.
Travis Scott does a lot with the overall sound. He makes it full, and if he doesn't, he gets people to get on there for him. Like
with Drake and Sicko Mode, right?
You know
just
what I'm
like
saying?
creating these big productions, so much bigger than just one person,
Right.
So who are you? One or two of your guys' favorite artists that you've? And I know it's a hard question, maybe recently, because like I said, because I the way I work, or not even work, the way when I find music I like, I'll fucking drill that song. I'll listen to that shit 100 times till I know every word, then I won't listen to it for a couple months.
Same here.
And then I'll put that shit back on and be like, yeah, let's go.
Right. For sure. I mean, for me, it's been the same answer for a long time. I've been watching this man come up for years. His name is Kalen, for real. He's one of my favorite artists from LA. He's signed to Rock Nation.
Yeah, he's been buzzing for a minute.
He's been buzzing for a minute.
I'm slipping.
Like
I don't think I've heard his shit.
Oh,
You gotta check out Kalen.
You put me on Kalen, cause you played it for me, and I was like, oh, I love him instantly, cause he sampled Faith Evans. That's like my favorite.
Right. You know what's funny is I seen Lars the other day. I told you,
yeah.
And Lars was like, "You put me on the right with it by Kalen." Like,
yeah.
Not like taking no credit like for anything crazy, but I definitely put a lot of people on in my city to Kalen.
Yeah.
And the way that I got put onto him was because my boy Devin Smith, from Oxnard and Ventura, he was in Kalen's music video called Fine Ass, which was the record that blew him up. So when I saw that I like knew someone who was in his video, I heard it, I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And that was at the time Fine Ass was out, Right With It wasn't even out yet. And there was like a snippet on his gram that he was pushing, and I would like, just like you said, like play shit. I would go on his Instagram and just play that video over and over. I'm like, this song is hard. Like, what is this? And then it came out, Right With It, Chris O'Bannon, Kalen, G Perico, produced by Blast.
Yeah.
Come on. I mean, it's still one of his biggest records. One of my first features I ever got in the LA scene was from Chris O'Bannon. Me and Kalen ended up meeting. I was at his video shoot. You feel me? His manager was in my studio session. It's like these things are manifesting, which is just crazy.
Because you're putting in the work.
For sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, look, come on. But yeah, Kalen is definitely one of my favorite artists. And I mean, I told Charlie I'm mad at him for this. He didn't put me on to no Usher. I've been listening to Usher because I'm like, Charlie, like my R&B like guide. I'm like, who should have showed me? Like Charlie should have showed me like the whole Confessions album. Like,
yeah, the whole Confessions album is lit. But you gotta go back to the first Usher album.
What, My Way?
Nah, the one before that. The one he don't promote that album at all. Like he don't be talking about that album. I don't know why, but that album is lit. It's called Usher. It's just called Usher.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's like his first album he made when he was like 14, 15.
I actually had, or my brother had that on a CD.
That's a legendary album because a lot of people that's like huge artists, they got their break writing on that first album for Usher.
Damn.
And Diddy executive produced the whole album.
Really?
Yeah, I'm telling you, that was like.
I went back and watched that Mary J shit.
I told you that shit crazy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I love that. I love hearing everybody's stories because everybody's come up is always different but kind of the same at the same time.
Right.
But it's just inspiration to see how you start from this section and then make your way all the way up to these crazy heights.
Right.
It's just you putting in the work consistently, and then somebody takes notice, and then bam, it's just like
right.
you out of there.
Right, you a fucking pop star, like
for real.
Crazy. What about you? Who's some of your favorite artists?
Dog, man, that's so hard because I'll be listening to everything, but if to narrow it down, I would say I've been really into Larry June lately.
You know about Larry June?
Not really.
Oh,
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna lie on it.
You gotta
Larry
I want to
June.
say yeah, I do.
You gotta get into Larry
Crazy,
June.
dog.
Larry June is good. He's from the Bay. He's up from in the Bay Area.
Big smoking music.
Yeah,
like,
he's
big
definitely
smoke music.
he's into smoking weed and he's into healthiness. You know, health and wellness. That's why I love him because he talks about like drinking a smoothie. You know, he make that shit cool. Like you know what I'm saying.
Like seriously, like in his raps, he's like, rolling up in smoke. Like literally, he just like super raw like that.
So if I'm going to get a
It's
green
fu-
tea, I'm like, yo,
Right.
I fuck with that. Like you know what I'm saying.
That's what I always fuck with. It was the authenticity aspect of any
real.
of my favorite artists because you can hear it too. Or I think I can when I hear somebody. I'm like, I don't even or sing whatever the song is. I don't even know if I believe that. In the
Right.
second I ask myself that,
Right.
I'm like, if I'm asking myself that, then then it's not even real.
Right, absolutely. You should
a
fucking
fact.
feel that shit
Yeah,
when you hear it.
yeah.
No, with Larry, you just know he got like his he got a shop out there in San Fran, and they sell nothing but like organic smoothies and like organic teas, and he has merch in there and all that kind of shit like that. So,
I didn't know that.
oh yeah,
And he does. Is he R&B style or is he hip hop?
Oh no, he's hip hop.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's all the way hip hop.
Very like almost kind of old school Bay Area.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Okay,
no
word.
auto tune rap.
He
Yeah.
be on that
Rapper
shit, but his-
Forte on it.
basically like that style. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? See, oh you hip, you know, Rapper Forte, yeah, that's super bad legend. But yeah, Larry June. Who else? That's so tough. Like Larry June. I keep saying.
Yeah, I
that.
know it's a hard question.
It
so
really,
I'm like,
it's really tough.
But-
But I'll say Travis Scott again because I've really been diving into his shit lately a lot. Even though I've listened to it like countless times, but I've really been listening like on a different level this time, listening back because the sonics of his music is just on another level too. Like the mixing, mastering, the engineering. Mike Dean, he's an alien when it comes to the mixing, mastering, and all of that shit like that too.
He does Travis's shit.
Yeah, he does most of Travis's stuff, and he also produces as well too.
Oh, fire.
He's a legend. He's been around for a long, long, long time.
Mike Dean.
Mike.
I've
Dean.
definitely heard his name on some tracks that I've
Yeah.
listened to
Mike
before.
Dean does like Ty Tolliver shit too.
Oh, got you.
You know, he's through Travis Scott's imprint.
Right.
But yeah, Travis Scott, I like he treats people's voices like instruments. He got a song with The Weeknd, but he has a song where he's actually featured. But then there's another song that he got where Weeknd's just doing background takes, and he chopped them and put
Damn.
them in there. You wouldn't even know until you really listen to like in the headphones. But yo, is that The Weeknd?
Right.
Then he got Tame Impala on a few joints where like the vocals is in there. I'm like, yo, Travis is
crazy.
fire. Like, I
The
fuck
Weeknd's a
with that.
beast, huh?
For sure.
Dude, he's on another level too. He's another one I enjoy seeing the come up because I remember when he first dropped the House of Balloons. That shit blew my mind. I was like, yo, who is this? And
I never tuned into bro like that. I mean, I definitely heard some of his shit, of course.
yeah, bro.
But
I liked
Fire.
him. I never followed him that much, but the reason I fucked with him a lot was because I felt like he combined hip hop with like I don't know if R&B is the right phrase, like the right genre to compare. Like I felt like it was a nice fusion of hearing kind of like almost like that old school like hip hop vibe with a new sound.
Absolutely.
Because he was talking about raw shit that I wouldn't usually hear, hearing that style of sound.
Yeah.
Like, oh damn, this
Yeah, he
guy's
was-
on the level.
He
Like,
definitely brought that sound to the mainstream, talking about like hitting lines and shit, like doing coke.
right.
He made it sound so cool in like the R&B style. I was
Right.
like, yo, who is this dude? Like he's fucking
Right.
crazy. But yeah, his vibe is it's changed as the years progress and the sound got bigger. So it's on a whole different scale now. But just to start where it started from to where it is today is just crazy to see. Like he's doing
Yeah.
stadiums and shit. Like
Right. He a real pop star as well.
for real, for real.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Shit is crazy.
yeah, one of my favorites, or I'd say probably my number one, definitely my top three is Nas.
Oh shit!
So that's something all three of us.
I'm so happy to see him come back
Yeah.
lately.
All three of us got that in common. I didn't bring
Yeah.
Nas up because that's like a given for me. Like,
right, same. Like
but like Nas is like the one. Like if
that's
I,
where we connect probably the most.
For
so
real,
that's
for
fucking
real.
weird as hell that you just
that
said
you
that.
just said that. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy, right?
For real.
That's kind of crazy.
Like,
but
that's
yeah,
our favorite.
Nasir is like the one. Like if I was a real rapper, that's who I want to sound like. Nas, like, cause Nas's voice, his tone is just like. I enjoy the quality of artists when they come out. You be like, oh, for sure, that's Nas. Like you don't even have to question it, or oh, that's Hov, like that's Jay-Z when he comes out, like
effortless.
You know what I'm saying?
It seems that you listen to it, it's like, oh.
And Nas is out here barring it up like he's just coming out, like
I know that
just
shit
dropped
it
today.
made me so happy, man.
God
When
damn.
I had Rare on repeat for so long. I
Woo!
fucking love it.
I know that whole magic.
Magic,
That's
bro.
my
What?
shit.
Listen,
I was waiting for
love
that
that
for a
shit.
minute. I'm like, dude, when I dropped, because I was actually driving from Kansas out here. So I just had that whole out. Like, I had all that shit on repeat. I'm like, damn.
let's go.
He's like,
It's crazy.
Yeah, dog. I love to see that, especially the link up with him and Hit Boy. I think
Yeah.
that was great. Because, I mean, Nas always had, like, a sound. You know what I'm saying? He worked with different producers like DJ Premier and, like, all these different people. But when he linked up with Hit Boy, it was just a different level. And I'm just happy to see it. I'm shitty I missed the concert
I know.
at the Bowl. We missed the concert. We was talking about
in
going.
traffic.
bro, I've never
Next to the
never
Bowl.
been,
Right?
I haven't been to a concert in a minute, but I've definitely never been to a concert at the Bowl. But I always hate that traffic. But
I actually saw Nas and Lauryn Hill at the Bowl years ago.
shit.
That was
Oh, the
fucking
first time they did
crazy.
it, right?
Yeah,
I was working at the Hollywood Bowl when they was doing that.
That's
and I got rolled
crazy.
up because I was like missing my shift because I kept sneaking out to go watch it.
Right.
I didn't give a fuck. I was like, yo.
That's
this
why he
is-
got the job.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding.
I was like,
He's
yo.
like, I know Nas
did.
gonna be here.
I got the job because a lot of artists that summer was performing at the Bowl, and I'm like, yo. Kanye had even did like the live. What was it? Was
The
it?
Sunday service shit. or
No, it
something?
wasn't that. It was like the 808s. He had like performed some of the songs in live with like an actual band and like orchestra. That shit blew my mind. So that was my first ever experience going to the Bowl. And then from there, I'm like, yo, I got to work here because they be having just like
Everyone.
crazy concerts coming here throughout the summer. Like John Mayer, he came, and I
Right.
was like, yo, I love John Mayer. But yeah, I got to see him in Dead Company a couple times. But the Nas one was crazy with Lauryn Hill. I was like, see Lauryn Hill live when? When am I ever going
Right.
to see that?
Yeah,
So-
exactly. It was really like her show. It was
Really?
like Lauren's show, and then Nas came out
came,
and they
yeah.
did like, what they did, If I Rule the World and everything.
Legendary, yo.
Yeah, I've gotten to see Nas like a couple times actually though. Like I'm like really a huge Nas fan.
I've
for
never
real.
seen him
Like,
live.
He's crazy live.
He's super
dog.
crazy.
I've seen him probably 5 times live, like, and I just freak out every time. When he
Well-
does one mic and shit.
The one mic was my shit. You're the man. I fucking
You're
love
the
it.
man.
He does all the old shit. He really goes like when I saw him, he started with like, I think he started with something off of Godson, or something.
Get down.
Yeah, Get Down,
That's
exactly.
like the opening he does.
Yeah, and then he'll like he has this one transition he always do with like the Stillmatic intro, and then he like cut it halfway and it go into this other song. I'm like, I love seeing that man perform, man. It's crazy.
Dog, he's the one. Like, man, you got to get me started on this Nas thing.
Right.
Nas is like the one, dog.
Have you ever seen Belly? Tell me you've seen Belly.
Yeah, it's
All
been a
right,
minute.
yeah.
It's been a
Good.
minute, but yeah,
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 that
definitely.
shit.
That's a classic movie. You know, oddly enough, he doesn't like it. He said that's like the worst movie.
What?
He said he didn't like I don't like, yo, he's tripping, he's bugging, but it's a classic. He played that role perfectly.
Right.
He didn't have to do too much. He was made to play sincere. I think he actually wrote the script with Hype Williams.
Really?
Yeah, because if you notice in the song, in the movie, it's certain parts where he's like talking and like they got these B-roll shots going on.
Yeah.
He's talking, but he's actually reciting his words, his lyrics.
Uh-huh.
Like now more than ever now more than ever I spot our era and ways or something like that. It was from
talking, but he's talking his
but
bars.
he's doing his raps. It's
Damn.
from a lot of the songs is from Illmatic. Like
Right.
when they sitting on the bench, he talking about the little kid.
Oh yeah, when he's like he has the gun and
Yeah,
shit.
and
Yeah.
then he gives him a chain in his hand.
Yeah.
And he was talking about, I like your style, son. He was
Yeah.
like, yo, what
Oh,
you
man.
doing, shorty? Like,
Yeah.
that was basically the whole thing from the Illmatic. Like, it was just crazy.
Right.
I'm too much of a Nas fan.
I love it. I'm happy I brought him up, man, because
Yeah.
honestly, he gave me it, and the way I found Nas was crazy because it's not even crazy, but I found like his CD behind a heater. Like it was either at school or at my mom's house, I forget. But I took it out, I put it in my new Walkman, and that was my shit. I was like, it was still mad because it's one mic, you're the man.
Yeah.
I had that shit on like, and there was a couple songs that skipped, because it was like a
Yeah.
mixtape. But I was like, that's when I fell in love with Nas, and ever since then, I'm like, he's the fucking legend, bro.
Hey, that's
Yeah.
a good start right there too. Stillmatic.
Yeah, it was like a treasure, bro. I found that. I was like,
Oh my
pulled it.
god.
I remember it was obviously a burned tape, but it was the gold CD, and it had Nas on the front. It just said Nas.
Yeah.
And I was like, and I fucking threw that in. It felt good.
That's
Now,
so dope.
I have another question for you guys.
Yeah.
Who is one of you, or in your head, like one of the most underestimated rappers in the game?
Like in general.
Because for me, I don't necessarily think, I was thinking this recently, so that's why I'm asking, is because I love fucking, I don't necessarily think he's underestimated, but I do, is fucking J-Rock, bro.
Oh yeah, J-Rock.
And like he still pops, he's still popping, but like I feel like he deserves more props. Like
Exactly.
and I like, and he's low key. You don't really see anything about the guy.
Yeah, he chill. He's super chill.
Yeah, and then he drops something, and I'm like, oh shit,
Right.
J-Rock fucking.
And you know he was like popping before Kendrick.
Yeah,
Before
yeah,
You know that, right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
So I don't know if that's why. I mean, obviously Kendrick, you know, is Kendrick.
yeah.
And so he like, I wouldn't even say that he's better. Like I think they could be different at times and whatever. But like Kendrick has that throne now, so obviously anybody on TDE isn't gonna get that same look. And I think
What
that's
happened to
where that might
Schoolboy?
come.
Has he dropped anything recently? I was listening to his shit literally yesterday or today.
Yeah, he just dropped. I think I want to say in 2019.
Okay.
He dropped
It's
that
been a little
last
bit.
album. But you know, stuff be moving so fast. It's like you put something out today, and then bam, within 6 months, it feels like
I feel like
a
it's
year
already
or
old.
two behind. It's like damn.
Yeah.
But that's just how it be. So much comes out and like left and right every day.
Right. And
like-
talk
That's
about,
a crazy thing, huh? Is there's so
For real.
much.
Yeah, and talk about TDE, underrated people, Ab Soul. Another
Bam.
one that's like, yeah,
He's
I
so
mean,
hard.
he got crazy bars and like he definitely doesn't get those looks. But again, that's like, it's just factors of the game, man. It's
Mm-hmm.
like if you're on a sports team, if you're on a fucking record label, anything, it's like if there's somebody else bigger than you on there, like they are gonna have the main shine. Like that's just what it is.
Well, you know, Kendrick ain't
You know?
on TDE no more.
Oh right, well he doing his
He's got his
PG
own
Lang
thing.
and shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe that'll change, or who knows? I mean, I knew that J Rock had like a huge moment with the Redemption album, and
I
got
love that
Grammy
shit. That was a
nominated
good
and
fucking
shit.
album.
That was a good look for him.
Yeah, but that's already been a little bit of time. I think that might have been the moment he got a good amount of recognition again that he
Exactly.
deserved. You know, to answer your question, I'm gonna take it back to the '90s and say Big L.
Ah,
Because I mean L was just like one of the craziest rappers ever.
super fire.
Yeah,
Yes,
and like obviously taken way too early
So,
before his
man.
time.
Nobody's been able to replicate that style either.
Yeah, nah.
I mean, with any of the greats, but it's like, damn, like he had a
He was just so
in your face. It was like,
yeah, and you would hear the
Right.
stories about him. Like he would go up against like any guy. He's like this little guy, like, and would go up against anyone, you know.
Yeah.
And just he really held his own. So
crazy.
yeah, I think Big L is definitely, obviously, an older school rapper, but one of them underrated legends that people don't mention enough.
respect, yeah.
I was gonna say Big Sean.
Big Sean's
love
solid,
Big
bro.
Sean.
Yeah, Big Sean solid, but I feel like the people don't be.
Giving him his flowers.
You know what I'm saying?
Like
He's in
Detroit too is
Bruh,
stupid.
he's in that class with Drake, Kendrick, Cole.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
all of them came around, but they only mentioned those three: Kendrick,
Right.
Cole, and Drake.
I feel like
Yeah,
Wiz, Big Sean,
too, yeah.
Mac,
All of them,
like
Wale even.
Wale for
Wale.
sure.
I
I
Nip.
told
Nip.
you when I was
You
at
know?
IU, they all came on that show.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
would come to Bloomington and they would perform. Mac Miller, fucking Wiz Khalifa, Wale, and none of them were huge yet. They had like the only person that was huge at the time on the roster was Asher Roth.
Yeah. We were
Asher
just talking
Roth.
about this the other
Kyle
day.
He was the biggest one, and like
Well, it's funny because Wiz used to. I went to the University of Kansas. You want a little more?
I'll take a little bit.
And Wiz used to come play at the fucking sororities and frats there.
In Kansas.
Yeah,
They used to hit those
like, it was
college
like,
circuits. That
and it
the
was
thing.
like, yeah,
Right.
that was his like, oh Wiz. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking bumping Wiz since flight school.
Right.
So I was like,
For
I
sure,
wanted to
come
check
on.
this shit out.
My
and
boy know what's
You know
up.
what's up.
Yeah.
That flight
I
school
love
was
that
it.
shit.
Yeah, that's like,
Cheers,
yeah.
gentlemen. Cheers.
Cheers, salute.
True
Damn.
buds. Let's go.
It's really refreshing, and not even refreshing, but it's just nice to talk to people like in the game, in the hip hop game, because I'm an outsider. Like I said, like I love hip hop, I love freestyle, and I love it all. But it's nice to get a little deeper with it.
Yeah,
For sure.
You know?
For sure. This like the type of talk we doing right now.
this
Like
regular.
Yeah, me and him. I just seen him the other day for the first time in a while, and like we just kick it and just talk about this shit all the time. This is like really our regular.
For real.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, shall I fuck with
Right.
this? What's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
on
Well,
with this?
I threw that there. So this is I actually had this. I had the owner of the company on the podcast probably a year ago now. But it's Pilgrim Soul,
Looks
Nice.
good as fuck. Looks
and
clean.
he does basically he takes live.
Bubble.
What he does is, or their company does, is they take live resin and they mix it for different experiences. Most of them are sativa based. This is like a creative one. It has like 3 or 4 different live resin mixes in there, but it's like upbeat. Like this would be like probably a perfect like studio pen, because myself, and I think you alluded to it earlier, was like if I smoke too much and I'm like too high, like I get in my own bubble, which for me is the beauty of weed.
Yeah.
And like there's something beautiful about that. But that's where I'm like when I go to shops, I'm pretty sober, like,
Right.
or do even PADs or events. I'm like, yo, Patient Appreciation Day, everybody.
You want to be sharp,
What
Don't be on your
was
shit,
there ever
like,
a
Oh, that's
PAD?
not too bad.
right? That shit
Being,
was clean.
being in the dispensary world, was there ever a PAD that stuck out to you? Like that was super dope.
Yes. Shout out to Slimmies because
I love Slimmies.
yeah, I fuck with them boys, and the number one thing that stood out to me was the guy doing the PAD was the owner of the brand. I was like, that is fucking dope. You know, if I'm a customer coming in here, I want to meet the owner of the brand. Like, I just could resonate with that so much. Like, just to hear them talk about their story. Like, for me as a consumer, if I walk into a dispensary and you're the owner and you're talking to me, you're gonna sell me right away, because I'm gonna resonate with that. I'm gonna be like, I'm a business owner too. I respect that. I respect you not only having a product and putting all the time into your brand, but you're fucking standing at the table.
Boots on the
representing-
ground still.
Yeah, boots on the fucking ground, just like you
You
would have your
fucking-
employee doing. You know?
You hit the fucking nail on the head in the industry to me. Like that's the piece of the puzzle in the cannabis industry that's so underestimated.
right.
Is there's so, and I've worked for startups. That my current co-on, who I love, is a startup, but I think Slimmies, it could be even considered a startup. But it's like it takes somebody putting in the work. Like, oh, this guy, like you're saying, gave you instant respect,
Right.
and that should not be underestimated in a game, but it is because people want to pour money, and the fact that you had such a quick answer on that was awesome.
Right.
Shout out
I know.
Slimmies. They're going to be coming on the pod because I've met the owner at Hall of Flowers, and I saw him at another event he was doing. I'm like, dude, I respect your game, like
Yeah.
you're saying.
Nice.
That's my dog.
Yeah.
They got their launch party next Thursday. I don't know if you're going or if you got the invite, but you should
I
definitely
didn't get
slide.
the invite. I didn't get
You got the invite now, Jack. Come on, you got the invite now, Jack. You ride one. I RSVP'd 5 for that reason.
Damn.
Okay, you coming
Yeah,
too.
I'm rolling through.
It's in Venice.
They'll recognize me that because we've been talking for a minute, but that's so because like we're saying in the space, dude, it's crazy. It's so saturated. So how are you going to separate yourself? In my mind, to your point, is genuine.
Yes.
Just like in music, people only listen to genuine shit. Or like we said, like I was saying earlier, you can feel it.
Right.
You can feel it instantly with any brand.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely.
People come through the door. It's like, yo, is there like how genuine is your brand? And it should be so genuine that you don't have to be there. Obviously, that's just a push. But like, I guess that's a deeper level too, from your packaging to whatever. If it's a vape, a flower, a drink, edible, how genuine? How genuine does it come off to the consumer when they walk right in?
Right. And then there's the whole other side of it too. Is like, for example, I love Seth Rogen. Okay, I love Seth Rogen. I'm not a movie guy. All of his movies are my fucking favorite. But when we got his tree in, I didn't really like the packaging. The packaging was a pain in the ass to open.
Doesn't have a seal.
It has the weirdest fucking seal on it, bro. It was the strangest. It was like a Lego. The way that it was it was so weird. The way that the shit was put together. It was like so grown-up proof. I couldn't even open it to show customers at the dispensary I worked at that we will not speak of.
It's like a Jack in the
We ain't
Box.
fucking with him. But yeah, exactly. It was just not. It wasn't good packaging, in my opinion, right? And that's just my opinion. But also, I just didn't love the tree. I never tried it, but I just didn't like how dense the buzz looked and how the eighth looked.
You know what? I love hearing this. for a couple reasons. Because I recently heard who grew their stuff, which I like who grows their stuff. But I know THC Design, which I know that you've smoked before too, grew Seth
love
Rogen
THC
shit
Design.
from what I've heard. But it's like that's the fact of the matter to me with the celebrity branding, and that's why so many celebrity brands have flopped, right? It's like, so you're telling me I can buy the same quality flower, like you could literally buy, and this is like, no, don't quote me on this, anybody, but like just an example, like you could buy Houseplant for 70 an eighth, just throwing numbers on my ass here, or THC Design for 45.
Right. But it's
Similar
theoretically
quality, different
cultivated by the
strains.
same person.
Yeah, cultivated, same quality flower, just with the hype behind it.
Right.
And that's I'm just bringing out an example. There's countless. Any celebrity brand that's popped up has been grown by somebody that's legit.
Right.
But they tack on for their marketing, for the celebrity exposure. They tack on all this, and what I think they think is the consumer doesn't see that,
Right.
but they do. That's why a lot of these brands have flopped, and that's why Khalifa Kush did it pretty right with, because you even look at the Khalifa Kush bottle, it has Floracal pretty small on it. Floracal does pretty good shit,
Right.
but at least he puts it on there. I don't think it's on the houseplant.
Right. Yeah, and that's just an example. And like, does Seth Rogen need to go do a 50 dispensary tour to promote his product? No. But imagine if he did.
Well, that's where
You know?
that's where I was gonna say no, but you know who does? Fucking Jay and Silent Bob, bro. Kevin Smith, bro, does work, dude. He does PADs, dude. Basically, he does they're events. They're more, he signs shit, but like, I've talked to, like, he actually goes and talks to bud tenders, bro. Like, bud tenders, like, oh, he was the nicest guy ever. Like, he gave me, like, Kevin Smith gave me a hug. Like, like he actually does that too.
I think if Seth Rogen came to the dispensary and gave me an eighth of houseplant, I would not be saying this right now. Right? I'd be like, fucking love houseplant. Right? And I'm just saying, because there's no background to it. It's like, I know it's Seth Rogen's brand, but it comes in a shitty jar. As a bud tender, I didn't get a sample of it. I never tried it. Where the fuck this is a celebrity brand.
And I talk
Where are
about
the samples?
Well, I talk about
what the fuck,
bro.
you know?
I talk about that shit all the time.
Yeah.
And samples, bro. Like, are you really gonna spend X amount of dollars in marketing and doing this? And
What
not,
is marketing
and not,
cannabis if you're not sampling?
Well, exactly,
you
and
know?
not give the people who are bud tenders, bro, are salesmen, like saleswomen. Like, are you not gonna give them the product? Like, I knew when I was bartending, if I never tasted it, bro, I wouldn't sell it.
Exactly.
All it took was one taste, a little drink of it, and I'd be like, okay, I know what it tastes like now. Let me fucking push this.
Now you can explain it. And exactly, when I was at the spot, I would smoke, something on my break, and I go back after break, like, I just smoked this. This shit right here is the one.
Shout out Source.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Short.
Shout out Source
Shorts,
Cannabis
man.
right now, man.
My mama's, yeah. And shout out to my mans over there, David. It's love. It's big love with Source. They have fire.
I love Source, bro.
Sure.
They were on this pod, man. They were one of my favorite podcasts I've had. They kept it super real.
You had them on here?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fire.
Nice.
Yeah.
Who?
The owners.
Oh, that's fire.
Yeah.
Super dope.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried their cannabis?
Yeah.
You're familiar with Source?
Absolutely.
They have, like, I don't know if you know, but it's indoor soil grown. So that's kind of the difference. Like, and correct me if I don't say anything right here, but like, yeah. So a lot of people grow indoor and they do like hydroponic and different kind of things, but indoor soil grown is like the cleanest way. And like in cannabis, they can't put like the like stamp organic on things, but like clean green certified is the cannabis term for organic, and that's what they are.
And they were the first ones to get that.
Yeah.
And even you're 100% right, and even like a step further too, is with their curing process.
Tell us about it.
I'm no expert. Let me say this.
But shout out to Source.
Put that out there.
But what they do though is they cure everything in glass. There's a lot of, especially when you're producing that much, they're still maybe considered relatively small batch, but for the amount they sell, they're probably not. But they cure everything in glass in a dark room. So their employees have to go in there, and that's what they were saying. Like sometimes, like if God forbid an employee knocks something down and breaks a glass, we throw all that butt away. Or I'm sure they smoke it, Right. But it's like, but that's the level of quality they keep. They keep the soil grown to glass cured, and there's just really not that many people in the game because it's such like Well, as soon as those plants are done, you got to dig them up, do all this shit. Like they're doing the extra steps, and it shows in their flower.
Right. Because in the game, it's like, as a cannabis brand, if you're really doing it all, you got to get that shit cultivated, get it tested, packaged. I mean, by the time it actually is ready to sell, there could be 2 weeks of buffer between getting it tested, packaged, sent out to the shops. And as a consumer, I don't know if you look at it, but when you go into a shop, package date.
Oh, yeah.
When
You
was
see
this
it.
eighth package? When was the
I'm so
flower
bad at
put
that.
in the jar? And it's like, I, at some points, don't give a fuck, but a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You know?
100%.
Like,
And-
oh, I don't want this.
Because it shows if it didn't sell, like why didn't it sell even?
And if I'm spending, yeah, exactly. And if I'm spending $70, $60, anything over 30, I mean, fuck, I don't pay retail
I was about to
anymore.
say, yeah.
Yeah, but like I haven't paid retail in a long time. But if I'm going to, I'm for sure making sure that package date is on
fresh,
point.
fresh.
Yeah, it's fresh. That shit is like, you know,
Yes.
70.
Well, and that's
eighth,
what.
like,
Well, that's what's
fuck.
going on in the industry right now, bro. There's so much like turmoil. It's like top brands have had to drop their shit. Like most flower companies that I've talked to, or people in that space, or sales reps, like they've dropped in the past 6 months to 8 months. The price of their eighth wholesale has dropped anywhere from probably $2 to $8.
Yeah, yeah. There's high-end
Which is
indoors going for
crazy.
under 20 and eighth now. That's crazy.
It's nuts.
Yeah,
And that's what
crazy.
what happens though, and that's why the game's so fucked up. Is people come in and undercut people.
Right.
Because they have the capital to do it, or maybe they don't. Maybe that's just part of their plan. But it's like, but that's a slippery slope. There was only a couple brands who didn't drop their price, and they did recently. Once again, don't quote me on this. It might have been like Alien Labs and maybe like CBX or something. And
Yeah.
maybe they've still maintained that price range, but it's like everybody else is dropping. But I respected them not dropping it at first, because there's a point where it's like, am I undervaluing my brand? Like my brand is, or my flower is still worth this, right?
Right.
But you got to play the game too. So it's
Gotta
kind of
play the
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just sit there and charge. It's like they are in business too. You got to move shit. And you're
Well,
not in
yeah.
business to hold the flower.
And,
like-
and I'm sure you've seen it in retail too. I've seen it personally so many times where people come in like, what's on sale? What's the cheapest thing I can buy?
it's about half the market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
100%.
Even in nice places. Like, it's mind blowing, which I get too. That's the way I buy shit. Like, oh, we got buy an eighth, get an eighth for a penny. I'm like, fuck it.
I mean, it's what makes the world go round, right? It's the whole point and price of the market. And yeah, it's just such an interesting game in California right now. Black market, white market. I don't know how much you talk about the dark side of things here.
A fair amount.
But yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like, it's very interesting between it all. And, you know, like I'd be
Well, that's
getting
what's
things that
hard.
come to me like, damn,
Dude, that's why it's like,
fuck.
yeah, like it's rare for me to buy flour in a store.
Yeah. No.
Like,
Yeah.
it's rare because my boy will just give me give him $100. I'll be like, grab handfuls of shit. I'm like, all right, like cool, like,
Right.
and that's also the beauty of the weed game. And those are some of my favorite shops. Like I have favorite shops for different reasons, but like I think about shops like if I was out of the weed game, if I wasn't selling it, like
Exactly.
what shops would I want to go to? I want to go to like a shop that makes me feel like I'm buying it for my homie.
Right.
That's what I want personally.
And I want to go, like, for example, shout out to the Syndicate. And SoCal Co-op is like a company that we do some business with. I'm in like the branding business
Syndicate's
as
dope.
well. Yeah, so like we do like their promotional products, so like water bottles, like T-shirts, hoodies, hats, all that kind of stuff for Syndicate. And so I really fuck with Syndicate because they're, you know, seed to sale essentially. Like they're cultivating, they have all the license. They're cultivating and then they're selling it. So as a consumer, if I had to go buy a tree right now, that's where I would go. Not just because I get my friends and family discount, but because
It's good.
motherfucking it's only $45 an eighth for their top shelf
Yes.
cap. You know what I mean? Like, you know that you're gonna get that fire because they don't have to sell somebody else's product and put the price up. They get this shit, break it down, sell it like you're getting it from your homie.
Yeah.
You know, so that's
And
the
I
type of
also
shit.
like, just for the Syndicate for a second, I also like their vibe that they have, like of their
the
shops.
design you're
It's
talking
like
about?
it's got that kind of speakeasy old school feel.
Yeah, exactly.
That brings it, and it speaks to the old culture of cannabis in a way too, and back to prohibition. Why shit was, at least for me, when I saw like an old school car outside, maybe the one in Woodland Hills, and they have the
Yeah.
other, whichever. I've been to all their locations. I forget which one it was.
That was
but
the
all,
Fallbrook one,
But
I
all
believe.
of them have that dope old school vibe.
Yeah, they actually like had remodeled it fully. Like I remember when they did that. The original SoCal Co-op was on Ventura Boulevard in Tarzana. I was talking to my man Sam today about that shit. It's so crazy. You remember like when Master P, like all the Master P flavors were coming out back in the day, like the Grape P. And
see,
all
I don't necessarily remember that, but I know that
Great.
that Master P is part owner or somehow involved with ice cream in Studio City. So they have an ice cream shop in there. But once again, I love Master P, no hate, but I don't feel like he's penetrating the culture as best as he could be.
Yeah. Well, I just have brought his name up because SoCal Co-op back in the day, I don't even think they do it anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't. But like they used to have like the Master P, and then they had like the Grape P, the Blueberry P, the Peach P, like all these different flavors of it.
So what?
It was
So
crazy.
well, that's
They
why.
only had the regular Master P.
They had, I remember the
Bro,
blueberry,
that's why, that's why it's crazy. Is like, where did that all? What happened? Like, if that was
I'm gonna find
still
out.
no, but I'm saying like, but like,
For real.
if Master P still had those strains popping in stores,
Right.
I guess that's why I said it because I've never smoked that or I've never even seen that.
Yeah, that was like when I was in high school. That shit was popping, and then like SoCal Co-op turned into the Syndicate, and they like super branded and did a bunch more stores. I think they have like 7 stores now.
Do you ever go to NorCal?
I have been, but not in a long time.
Because I feel like that's the way. Like I feel like I've only been a couple times, with just that OG vibe. Is
Yeah.
that where you're from?
I'm from Indiana.
Oh, okay,
originally.
but you spent some time up.
Yeah, but I was up there in like Oakland and like over in like San Fran, and the gas is good up there.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, we got good gas.
I went there. I have a cool story about the cookies store. So like back before cookies was even in LA, like literally, remember the Maywood one, the Cookies Maywood.
Yeah.
That was like the first Cookies LA
Oh, was it?
store.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the first Cookies LA store. And so before that one, there was like a shop, Connect to Coast is the homies out in Northern 805. Shout out to Sanctus and shit. Coast to Coast, on Canoga Boulevard, I believe. They had like, I remember back in the day, like one strain burners cookies. I was like, what the fuck? Like this is before any burner shit was in LA.
Wow.
So you just heard about the hype and cookies and burner, and this was like, when like Migos put out fucking that one joint. What was it? The big ass Migos joint.
Stir fry?
No, the fucking
In Montana?
no, what am I thinking of? Whatever, where they talk
Bad
about
Bougie.
cookie in a hot box. Yeah, Bad and Bougie, where they talk about smoking on cookie in a hot box. Like maybe that was after, but there was so much hype about cookies. And I was dating this chick at the time, and I shot a music video one night in Malibu, and then me and her linked up that night and drove to San Fran. And I swear
Tell me more.
my whole fucking motivation, brother, to go out there was to go to the cookie store. That was the only reason I wanted to go to San Fran. Like I was like, we're gonna go on this trip, whatever, with this chick, but like I wanted to go to the cookie so bad, bro. And I went into the cookie store. That was before it was prepackaged. They had the big jars out, just like
I missed that.
they pulled me out. Like here's the gelato 41, here's the gelato 33, here's lemonade, like the original lemonade strain.
Damn.
They had like Khalifa Kush there, like just all
It's different.
The
now. They
classics,
don't even
jet
let you,
fuel.
like, smell it no more.
yeah. I mean, some do.
I don't know what's going on with. I'm gonna tread lightly here. But with lemonade,
Yeah,
like I'm yet to walk in any lemonade dispensary
really?
when there's somebody else in there.
Wait, what you mean?
Like I've never. It sounds so fucked up. I go at weird times, but like there's never like I've go into lemonade dispensaries, bro, and there's like
Oh, there's, like, not that many
there's
people
nobody
in there?
ever in there, bro. I'm like, how are you doing this? Like,
Yeah.
Have you done PADs there?
No, they haven't been an account. I try to get into it more with my last brand. Like for Koan, they just don't fit our demographic really, or in our target audience.
But you just mean as a consumer?
Just as a consumer, but I would go in there back a lot, like to these other ones, because I used to visit 50 shops a week.
right.
So I go in all these places, but like lemonade and even cookies that were around in LA that I would go in, I'm like,
How are
why aren't they popping?
Yeah.
And I would go at, granted, I would go at hours that were better to talk to people.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, take this with a grain of salt. But it's like,
Right.
that's the crazy thing about retail, right? It's like, what's going on there too? You know, it's like it's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, but you look at Cookies Melrose, right? I don't know if you saw they just did. You know, Fools Gone Wild is like this big like Hispanic Instagram community, and like Fools Gone Wild and Burner and Cookies like just did a collab. So like at the fucking Cookies Melrose, they just had like a liner on the block doing all this promo. Burner's there doing whatever. Like, think about the asset that Burner is, and then any collab that they can do with these big artists. It's like, sure, maybe their business is slow 6 days a week or 20 days a month.
Yeah.
But if they can have one huge promotional day,
real shit. Yeah.
bring in their business for the month in one day.
Yeah, real shit.
So it's like it can stay slower because they at any point can just pull the card.
But that's a crazy thing about these Melrose shops in general. Cannabis, or the dispensaries at least, is all I can speak for, is there's so much foot traffic there. But once again, I've hit all those shops up too. And like you're saying, they have their pop-in day where they have a big event and stuff, but it's like, in general, it should be more pop. It blows my mind that they're not more popping.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I would bet you like a syndicate does more business.
I would too.
I mean, I don't know. It's really hard
It depends
to
which
say.
location. Well, that's why location is crazy.
Right.
But I will say, to the point, is Cookies is dope. I fuck with Cookies. I love their brand. I love
'em.
Burner. You know, I've never like been like a huge Burner music fan, but I've definitely bumped his music a fair amount.
His
But,
new
like,
album, crazy.
And he keeps that chilling. He's got that. He reminds me of. I've never even said this before. He reminds me of like a stoned out Gangstar with a monotone flow almost.
He pulling that shit out.
Yeah,
I
I
love
like
this shit. I love this shit. Yeah, he definitely is kind of just on some like super chill, laid back shit. But yeah, his new album, what's it called? Gotti. I'm pretty sure it's not like super new anymore, but
This
that
is
shit
his
was
latest?
crazy. Yeah, his latest album.
And he's dope. And to clarify, no hate on Cookies, Lemonade, anything. I'm just speaking my time in the field, you know, just being on the ground doing shit. But it's like I
love the weed that they had with Ross.
Oh yeah,
The Collins Ave
Yeah.
joint. That shit was fire.
that shit was fire. Pink rose.
Yeah, the pink rose was good too.
Yeah,
The lemon pepper.
yeah.
The lemon pepper was hitting. I had to get that.
I went to the I don't know if I ever told you this. We were in Las Vegas doing a magazine venture at the time, and Cookies Las Vegas had opened while I happened to be out there.
Oh wow.
So I made my boy Andrew like go with me like at like 5 a.m. to the cookie store, and we like waited there all morning. It's fucking hot as hell in Vegas.
Oh yeah.
And we're like standing outside for like hours. But we have a vlog on our YouTube, and it's like our most viewed video on our YouTube right now.
watch that shit.
Straight up.
I'm gonna put the link below for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
right?
Put that link right here. Right here.
Right below.
Click right here. You know what I'm saying?
Bro,
That shit crazy. Rick Ross in it, Burner in it.
dude,
Crazy.
I'm excited for Vegas, bro. Cause like so with these shots, it's like lounges are a huge focus for us.
Yeah.
So like Vegas is gonna be the next hot ticket to fucking make that happen.
Sure.
And it's just dope to see like people, because a lot of people don't even want to be next to people that are like blazing up, which I get to. That's why I like the Artistry Lounge where we'll smoke up some. Is because you can drink cannabis cocktails and you can smoke there, but like there's lounges, because it's down to the city, you know, to decide like, oh, this is going to be a non-smoking lounge, this will be edible lounge. Just some bullshit. But I've gotten, from the last company I've worked for in Coan too, I've probably gotten 30 to 40 people who are probably 50 to 70 years old high, or like I've given them their first cannabis experience.
Oh shit.
That's so cool.
And like, cause I'll serve them a low dose drink, and I'll come back and check, and like, oh, what is this like? Cause they're like all worried, like, oh, you know, the whole stigma, no, they're freaking out. And I'm like, yo, just chill, drink some of this, wait 10-15 minutes, and it's like, it's rewarding to me to like see that.
Yeah.
Right.
And
like
it's
just
like,
to kind of
yeah,
cure
it's like,
their
yeah, it's like,
mindset.
yo, chill. And then they're like, it's just cool to see like somebody who was probably a weed hater for 40 years, like all of a sudden like kind of high, like,
Right.
okay, this is cool.
They should have been. They probably like, I should have been doing this years ago.
Right.
Yeah, I would still be married.
Right? Oh shit, yo.
That's funny as fuck.
Hilarious.
Yeah, because some of them, like, he has all these drinks. Some are like CBD heavy, some are THC, and then everything in between.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen him like really break it down to customers in the shop, and it's really cool.
That's fire.
It's an interesting product.
So yeah, this one right here is the one that I've gotten a lot of these people feeling is 1 milligram THC,
What? How much CBD?
15 CBD.
15 to 1.
So you know, I mean, the average person, or if you smoke, it's like just chill out.
Yeah.
But you know, even people that smoke like myself, I enjoy it. It's kind of just a little anxiety relief because I'm super fucking anxious right now. Not playing, but
Nice.
this is one I drink the most. But that's why, honestly, though, if I had to choose one way to smoke, it'd be a joint, followed by a blunt, or I say one way to consume cannabis.
All right.
But drinks, though, dude, like drinks
Yeah.
are the shit though, because they're low key. Like I could bring this anywhere, drink
Right.
this anywhere. Not gonna smell. I'm gonna feel fucking good.
Right.
That's why I joke around to people like during these events and shit. I'm like, where was this shit in high school for me? bro?"
Right.
Right.
You'd fucking wake me up somewhere. I'd just be like,
Facts. I would have been off that shit. I would've loved
yo,
that
Jack,
shit.
the bell's ringing, bro.
It's like, is it? I don't
It's
hear
not.
I guess I
anything.
used to smoke Dutch Master. That was the shit in the East Coast was the Dutch
Oh,
Masters.
Dutch
Yeah.
is- yeah, Dutchess was it. Yeah,
I smoked my
Dutchess.
first one recently, like 2 weeks ago. To my face. It was small. It was probably like a gram and a half.
That's good.
But I
That's a good,
smoke-
that's a good
That's a
one.
good
But I smoked a
size.
whole fucking like I don't need much like.
Yeah.
But then I
Right.
was like, oh shit.
Right. You ever
It's
smoke
pack a
backwoods
punch.
and shit or frontos? You know what fronto leaf is?
Yeah, I prefer Fronto over backwoods,
Smart.
He knows.
but
I ain't
I
gotta-
prefer Dutchess over all of them.
Nice.
But
I
you
don't
know,
like the Dutchess sometimes because like when you split it, it kind of like
also that's why if it's the fat Dutch when you unroll it, when
Yeah.
you unroll the leaf,
oh,
Oh,
you
those
got
are real
the
Dutch.
real ones.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I've never used. I only used the ones that
the
come in
cigarillos,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, they can crack weird, and it's by like I when I moved to Kansas, everybody was smoking Swishers and White Owls.
Right.
That's all they smoke out
So
that way.
so I fuck with those too.
That's what we used to smoke out here, you know,
Uh-huh.
and then backwoods got super popular.
Was that
For real.
why was that? Was it like a hip hop thing? You think?
I think so. Hip hop started super like I mean, obviously backwoods been popular forever.
Forever.
You know, like Biggie talk about smoke backwoods and Dutchies, you can't touch me. Like, you know, it's been there, you know, but I think backwoods became super popularized in hip hop culture and then that made it more like popular, you know, and
Yeah, there's even that show that they do. I don't know what channel it is. Like rolling a backwood with name the famous artist, whoever.
yeah,
it
on
is.
Complex
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Smart show idea.
For
It's
sure.
fire.
And everybody show they different like
The
techniques.
techniques, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw one. I forgot who it was. They did the one like I be doing. Like I water it, and, like rinse it,
Right.
dry it, and then they be like, "Well, you do all that?" Oh, absolutely.
Right.
You know, my favorite like hack that my boy showed me from Jersey was like after I went back to visit after I moved away. So after you peel the leaf off, and then you split it, but after you peel the outer leaf off,
Right.
he would have a beer or he had a can of soda at the time, and because of the condensation on the can, he would take the outer leaf and wrap it around the can, and it would stick and keep it moist. And then he would split that down the middle, tear out the cancer paper, roll it up, and then the leaf would still be wet. He might lick it a little bit after, but like the condensation step on there. I was
Right.
like, that was dope.
That's tight.
I thought it was cool.
tight.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That is
I never
interesting.
thought about that.
I never thought about that either. Cause yeah, we always like will wash it if you could or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
whatever.
When you say what,
you
just throw
know?
it on some water to.
Like,
Yeah, throw it under the
Yeah.
sink.
and if
and then
you're
just, like,
not,
put
and do
it
you
on
roll it
paper
right after that, or do you
absolutely, well, you dry it a little bit first.
with a
Like,
lighter?
get
Or?
Paper
no,
towel.
with paper towel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do it like that, you know. Make sure you get like a little bit of water out, so it's not like super drenched. And then you take it and you stuff it with the weed, roll it. You really don't have to lick it as much because it's
Yeah.
already still kind of moist. So all you got to do is maybe do like a light lick and then just fucking seal it. And I really hate when people like just slobber it down. Like I'll be like, yeah, you can have that. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you know, I don't know. It's-
Sometimes you have to though. I
yeah,
mean, like if
sometimes,
it's
'cause
a dry ass
if it's
leaf.
got a huge fucking vein thing on
Yeah.
there, like a branch, then yeah, you gonna
See
have
that,
to.
and that was
Right.
the thing with backwoods for me too. It's like I got some backwoods that were solid, but then I buy a fair amount that were just had so many stems and that fat fucking going through it. I'm like, the Dutches were I always was like leaning towards a Dutch
Oh,
anyway.
yeah. When you buy a
Yeah.
pack of backwoods, you just already know 3 of them's probably gonna be solid, or maybe 2 of them gonna be
Right.
solid, and then 3 gonna be fucked up because
Yeah.
they got them big ass branches in them. But you can always cut around.
Yeah, it's all about knowing how to shape your shit. And like if you smoking backwards, you definitely should be like washing it because it get all of like the extra
that shit out of
tobacco
there, yeah.
And
that's, like,
chemical.
in there, yeah, and chemical, whatever.
And when you wash it, you see all
Yeah.
that brown shit coming off there. It's like,
Exactly.
oh, man.
Even like when you wash it, put it on the paper towel, and put the other, you know what I mean? Then you pull it off. You're like, oh my god, that was what I'd be smoking like.
right? It's hella brown.
Yeah, I had a friend one time. I forget who it was, but he smoked and he like put a paper towel like in between like his mouth and the thing, and then like showed me, and it was like hella brown on the shit. And I'm like, why you showing me this, dog?
Yeah, it's
like
kinda
I realize it's not the healthiest habit,
Right?
right? Okay.
Why you ruining my high, bro? He's like-
Right? Why would you
Right.
do that? Now I gotta be thinking about this.
Right.
I'm in my head now.
Right. I mean, that's why the glass tips are cool though.
They are. They better. I like it like that too with the glass tips.
Yeah, the glass is like super clean.
I
have a
even like
homie do
doing
that.
putting filters in it. I've tried that, and like the homies like, you tripping? I put a filter inside the backwoods. I'm rolling it, and like that's good too because you get less of that brown shit on your lips
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff like that. And it smokes smoother. It's not as
That's why I love. That's why like a J to me is hard to beat.
absolutely nice little spliff.
Well,
Never
also
hurts.
too, that's why bongs are dope too. Like, and that's where I need to smoke more pieces. I need to get better pieces, but it's like the J is hard. And there's something about rolling it up that's just peaceful to me. It's
Oh, that's
just like-
therapeutic.
for. I
I
say
like
that all
to-
the time. That's
to
exactly
listen.
what I
It
say.
really is. I like
Yeah.
writing songs and rolling. Like when I'm
Right.
writing and rolling, that's
Just
like
help you kind of zone and
for
shit.
real.
Yeah.
And it's the craziest shit ever.
That should be a
Yeah.
song, writing and rolling.
Right.
For real. Okay, you got me thinking. You
Right.
got
Now
me
he goes
thinking.
straight for us.
Right, he goes straight for us.
Alright.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on it. Let's go.
That's
Oh,
fire.
shit.
That's fire,
I'm just
bro.
peeping over like I'm like, dang, we've been rocking for 3 hours.
No way.
Not playing,
playing.
I'm
Oh.
about to say,
Not
what the fuck? Let's
I was
go.
like, I don't know
was
how long we've been
dang,
going.
We've been chopping it up heavy.
Oh,
then.
I'll play this hour 20, hour 20.
Fire.
Oh, that's fire.
But that's the beauty
Fire.
of it, you
Fire.
know. That's why it's like, it's just fun, man. I almost sometimes wish like conversations I have just would be like recorded. Just
sure.
like, kicking and talking, like be on that like fucking what's his name? Gary V shit.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I got 10 fucking cinematographers around me. Let's fucking go.
That's the goal. Oh,
That's
mama's
the goat, yo.
Be fucking humble.
right.
Yo, Gary V's the man, dog. I got on him
Real.
through Net.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I seen him interview Net.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I ever heard of Gary V.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, you never heard of Gary V? I was like, never. And they was like, you need to get hip. And from that moment, I was just watching him all the time.
Yeah.
Follow him on Instagram. Gary V's the legend.
No, for sure. He's just so interesting. Such an interesting guy.
For- yeah, he
The
is.
first video I ever saw was him on a New York street corner, just ranting, and I'm like, I fucking like this guy.
Yeah.
He was just going off. I'm like, but that's what I think about because his whole the biggest thing I took from him that I don't do enough is like, don't worry about making content, just document shit.
Damn.
And I'm like, that's where I'm slipping though. Like I need to get better at that.
Yeah.
Like just real shit. Like on the day to day, like I don't put out that much, but I feel like sometimes I do pretty cool shit, or maybe it's mundane, but it's also like be an insight to people. It's cannabis based, whatever. Like that's
Yeah.
what I took from it, and I'm just slacking on it.
Well,
No.
I think just building your team, building your leverage, building everything. So it's like with Underground, like we have a very like something that people want to be a part of, right? So it's pretty fairly easy to like have a lot of people that want to come and work with us and create the content and boom, boom, boom. So it's like the more that you're doing for your own stuff, the more that other people are going to want to get involved. And the more that you can put on other people, the more that you'll grow and all that. So it's really hard to do it all on your own, you know?
So when's the first underground cannabis product coming out?
I mean, I don't have any plans. As
Underground. I could see to start like a dope fucking underground pre-roll with that logo on
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of thoughts about things. You know, we're just trying to build a brand to where we want it to be. Like something cannabis related with Underground is like I have a photo shoot for our next magazine. It's basically broke up into like 3 different days for reasons I can't explain on air right now.
Yeah.
But basically we have different people that we do shoots with, and for different reasons it'll be on different days. But I have a weed brand called Roadrunners. Shout out to Roadrunners LA. Shout out to my boy Alex. They're gonna sponsor the shoot. You got me? So like these artists at different levels in their career will be at our shoot and they'll be accommodated with free cannabis, and then that brand will get a little bit of exposure if hopefully they could hold up their bag and get some photos. So a little bit of cross branding with some cannabis, you know? That's kind of how
and that's what I was alluding to earlier. That's the missing key.
yeah.
Is that's what brands need to be doing.
Right.
They need to be doing exactly that.
Right.
On the ground moves.
Right.
With people that actually care and actually enjoy the product.
Exactly. And then now this brand can get some dope artists to have their weed in their hand, and then vice versa. Now the artist is sharing about the product, and it's just like growing. That's how Cookies blew up.
And then even the artist is smoking it 2 days later. Got a fat fucking backwood rolled up, and like, oh shit, this shit's good. What are we smoking? Like, oh, this is my sponsor, Roadrunner. Like, oh, go check that shit out.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what I keep thinking so much is like, why like that. I feel like that mentality has been almost lost, but it's so amazing that it kind of has been, because there's so much potential there for the old school hustle.
Yeah.
It's underestimated.
Yeah, I try to bring a lot back of the old school hustle, like you said, to the modern business, you know. And yeah, in terms of cannabis branding stuff with underground, I've had a lot of ideas, you know, with the white label type of thing you can do. There's so many opportunities all the time, right? Like if I had a big rapper that said that they wanted a strain and I could co-brand with Roadrunners and make it Underground Roadrunners presented by whoever, you know, I mean, that's like a no-brainer. So anything like that could happen anytime. It's just about developing the brand to get it to where I want it to be, to where we can do that kind of stuff.
I respect that more than I can even say in words, because I feel the same way.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have so many grand ideas, but I'm like, I just need to build like an actual real shit, like a community, like you're saying, like a community of people who want to kick it.
Yeah, and focus
That's
on
where
your
you start.
on your goal. You know, like don't like I'm in the magazine business, so like I'm trying to like execute the magazine business to XXL source status. You know, and until I'm there, I can't do anything else. Obviously, I'm being an artist and doing what I need to do, blah blah blah. But it's like that's the business we're in. So the minute I start to now be like, oh, I'm doing cannabis, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, it's like we're losing focus from the magazine and that, you know. And let's get the magazine to where we want it to be. Then we can do everything fucking else we want to do.
Hit that goal.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the company, the magazine's bigger than me, and that's like the mindset that I've always had, is like I'm trying to build something bigger than me. You get me? Like, because that can be everything. That can be cannabis. It can be Pofsky signs himself to Underground Records that has a JV with Rock Nation, for example, right? That could be something. I could have just manifested that right now. That's the goal, is to get a JV at some point for the company and sign myself, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it'll come first with the magazine.
You laser focus on the magazine, everything else will come.
Yeah. I mean, I'm definitely focused on myself as an artist too and shit, you know, and like all the other things that I need to do. But like in terms of the goal for the magazine, it's the magazine, you know, keeping a clear goal, I guess is the point.
And with that too, I guess in terms of like bringing on other brands and sponsors and stuff, you don't want to like dilute it too much, right? Like that's what I thought about even for my shit. I've had I've had some people sponsor videos and podcasts and shit, but then I'll get like I've had a fair amount of whack people hit me up, and I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna like actually believe in this and promote this, bro.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to keep the lights on while also it's trying to stay true.
Absolutely.
Right. And that's why I named it True Buds in the first place. It's like I just want to be like true to everything.
Right.
True Buds, like True Buds is a pun on like weed and also like my homies.
Yeah, like true friends.
Like True
and
Buds,
shit.
yeah. Like and just if I boil anything down at the end of the day, the most important thing I think for me a lot of times is being true or real. You can call it real, you can call it honest, true, whatever the word may be.
Yeah.
But that's how I kind of work, and that's why I'm fucking vibing with what you're saying so hard, because I've had so many thoughts. I'm like, all I have to do is keep building the brand, and everything else will come.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's got to be that long-term thought, you know. So.
End goal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, the long-term game is crazy.
Right.
For sure.
But that's where it's at, and that's some Gary Vee shit too, you know.
Real.
But it's like
that's one of the things I saw that he was talking about. But he was blowing my mind because he was talking to like 14, 11, 12-year-olds.
Right.
I was like, yo, I got this idea, and my mom and my dad want me to go to school, but I don't want to go to school. I want to do this idea. And he said, well, don't go to school. Go and find you somebody, your aunt that lives in California. Go sleep on her couch for the summer.
Right.
And make that happen. He
Right.
said, I'll get your flight to California. You just got to promise that you're going to do. I was like, yo, Gary Vee's the realest one.
Yeah.
I got to look that up and see the update and see if the little guy really did it.
Right.
Because that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
in today's age is just wild. Like, the youngins are, like, way advanced
Right.
than I know I was when I was, like, 12, 13. I wasn't even thinking about.
Yeah, they're
the
more
shit that
empowered these days.
Exactly.
You
With
know?
more resources, like the phone, it's crazy. Like, you can
Right.
do a lot of stuff. Your computer.
You know, it's-
Unfortunately, when I was that age, we didn't have all of the technology we got
Right.
today, which is crazy. But it's beautiful to see.
For
A lot
real.
of these kids is just blowing up with their ideas, and,
And
they're
it's
like,
like-
huge ideas.
Right.
Like, yeah, the whole like TikTok game, which I'm out of, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People, like, my sister says, oh, my friend is popping off. I'm like, damn, like, this shit's crazy.
Yeah. Even I'm still really trying to figure out how to get into that correctly. You know, I've posted one thing on my TikTok. It was just like my music video, same clip I put on my IG. It's like, you have to learn how to create content for that.
Exactly.
You know, like somebody told me some valuable information. Like, you don't post Instagram content on TikTok and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You create content for TikTok and then you create content for Instagram.
Two
know,
different things, two
y-
different worlds.
Yeah, it's interesting. And like, people on TikTok are more interested in seeing, like, somebody broke it down to me like this, like how it was made, versus like on Instagram, you're showing them like the final product. Like on Instagram, I'm gonna post the music video clip of the promotional one that I'm pushing, and it could run ads, and that's just like general. TikTok, they want to see behind the scenes. They want to see the models. They want to see me like walking into the space, finding it, talking to my guy, like. And I know this, I just haven't executed it yet, but I know that's what people want to see, you know?
It's a whole nother set of things to like learn and like apply.
And like,
like,
yeah,
you
and
know,
just
get
do.
into, yeah.
Right. And like you said,
Yeah.
it's less of like waking up and being like, oh, today I'm going to shoot TikTok content. Just more like, today I'm going to a meeting at a studio and I'm going here and I have an interview and then we're going here after. And it's like, someone could just be filming, or I could just be filming on my phone. You know,
Well, that's
like,
that's what I realized too. Is like, I need to start doing more. Is like just shooting it, and maybe I don't.
Vlogging it.
Maybe I don't use it,
Right.
but just do it, just to
Right.
get used to it more.
Right.
Because yeah, it's crazy. But I'm also the type of dude who goes like live in the woods for like a while and be cool, like by myself. Like
For
disappear
sure.
like with a fat bag of weed. Like, all right, don't talk to me.
For sure, that. I feel that.
That's some real shit.
Facts.
For real.
That's mad funny.
It's always a line to walk, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the goal. Get hella successful and then just dip.
Right, and then you can do that shit. You ain't got to
Right.
worry about all that.
Have you
other
guys
shit.
seen this? I saw it earlier when I was scrolling through YouTube. This like Mace and Diddy beef that's going on.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
I've been following it heavy because you know Mace coming up was like the guy, and of course Diddy is just Diddy, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't know who to believe because it's like Mace been crying the same story for years, like, and Diddy never really paid no attention, but now he's finally speaking on it, which is crazy.
Right.
But
On the Breakfast Club
yeah,
and shit.
Diddy was like,
it's
he
really
was like,
crazy.
He owes me $3 million. How does he say I owe him money? I'm like, oh
Right.
shit, this is getting fucking spicy.
I'm not going to lie. Not that I fucking know either of them personally, but I'm probably going to take Diddy's side of it as the fact of like,
He's tried and true in the game.
yeah, I mean, I don't look like when you're an exec like that, I don't think that there's things that are in place that Mace is happy about, but he probably signed those deals and
Yeah,
then
no, yeah.
yeah, or didn't know or did know and wasn't at the point to say otherwise at the time. It's like, how can you be mad at somebody who gave you all these opportunities and all these different type of things, and then now, you know, it's so much detail.
Yeah,
It's like, how
it's
can you
probably
really
stuff that
analyze
we probably
it?
don't even really know, but that he probably hasn't brought up. But I don't know. It's stories that are recurring. Like a lot of artists from that label from that time have said I don't have any money, or like a few of them have died and didn't
Yeah.
have any money.
That's what Mace was kind of saying.
But I don't know. He was basically like, he had to years later down the line literally go and get things little by little to get his shit back. But I don't know. I really don't know. Because, you know, when Diddy, he's the fucking owner of the label. So, of course, he's probably going to put some, you know, he's going to get his shit back first before you see it, of course. Because
Right.
he's the owner.
Whether
So,
you like it or not.
you know?
Right.
But I don't know. It's a fine line. I feel like in today's time, us as artists now, we have too much resources to have those kind of experiences happen, and we should be kind of more on our game
Right.
going in, so we won't have these kind of stories down the line when we like 50 and say, oh, such and such owes me, he didn't pay me for what he owed me from this time and all that kind of stuff. But you know, people to come from nothing, so when they get the opportunity and your life changes in like 48 hours,
Right.
it's like, are you really asking questions? Or are you
Right.
just like,
Let me
fuck
get
it,
this
I'm on a
fucking-
jet,
yeah.
I'm on a
Right.
jet, I'm touring, I'm making songs in the studio with these people. But you know, Mace, I feel like Mace, I watched the interview he did, $1 million worth of game. He was
Yeah.
talking on there.
I was watching that
He's
too.
been investing in other artists coming up like Fafio.
Yeah, and then they
invested
called
in-
him out for some shit.
So
Like, what kind
I'm
of shit
just
is
like,
that?
yo, what's going on? He talking about I'm Diddy 2.0. I'm like, yo,
Well,
Mace is losing his mind.
well the way once again providing like my obviously not in the game perspective, just outside the game, is like, yo, I haven't heard about Mace since I was like 15.
Yeah.
And like in the past 2 years he's been popping up, so it's like in my videos and what my algorithm or whatever the fuck I see or talking to people, and that to me is like Diddy's been in the game. Like to your point, kind of is like Diddy's been and steady in the game
Yeah.
the whole time. I don't know what you've been doing, Mace, but I just seem like you're almost trying to get a check.
I think so.
Yeah.
But I feel like he could owe Diddy because, you know, he just retired out of nowhere.
Right.
Like he was the hottest artist, and then he just was like, I'm not doing music no more.
And he
I'm
said
about
that
to
he
get
like
past
didn't
that.
recoup the album or something,
Yeah,
right?
he said he owes me $3 million because he was supposed to do another album and he never did it.
Right.
So
That makes sense.
it makes sense how he could say he owes him $3 million, but Diddy probably
Right.
ain't tripping off that $3 million. He's only saying it
Hell
because
no,
he's
because it's
saying,
principle.
You know what I'm saying? How you
Right.
gonna say I owe you money and you owe me money? Like,
Right. And maybe it's not like he borrowed the money from him, but yeah, maybe they made an agreement with a projection of 3 million. And if I'm a fucking businessman and put a projection on an artist and they sign a contract, I don't care if you didn't borrow the money or not. You made an agreement that we was going to make this money together. So now I didn't make it. Right? So, and again, we're just talking hypothetical and shit.
Yeah.
But I really liked what Diddy said in the Breakfast Club interview where he's like, we going to get the story straight. We going to get all these people to come. Like, how can you argue with that?
Yeah.
He's really telling you, like, nah, I'm going to bring locks up. We going to
Yeah.
talk about how they threw the fucking refrigerator out the window or something. You know what I'm talking about? That crazy story? Like,
Yeah, he said he threw a fridge at Diddy or some shit. Jada. I was
Yeah.
like, yo, Jada a little guy.
yeah, like threw a refrigerator out of the fucking second story of a building or
Yeah,
something
they
crazy.
was wilding. Yeah, like, why?
Yeah, but there's so many crazy stories. But think about how big Bad Boy was at the time. Think about how many big artists they had.
Yeah.
Think about being Diddy in that point. I mean, people are gonna fucking hate you, bro. It just
Yeah.
is what it is. And-
Nobody really, hip hop wasn't really making money until Diddy came into the picture.
Right.
I mean, they were doing okay, but as soon as Bad Boy launched and like all these artists, that's when it was like doing stadiums, selling out shows, and like everything he touched. And during that time period,
Right.
that run, it just was hitting chart after chart. Like I think he had the most songs on the Billboard at one time.
Really?
From multiple artists, not just his label, but Mariah Carey's and like all these people. Like they was calling him, like, can I get a feature? Can I get a remix? And he was
Right.
like, yeah,
Right.
easy.
yeah.
Well,
And-
I think too, it comes down to like, at least this Mace thing is like, always, regardless, right? Beef sells.
Oh yeah.
So what's
That could
Mace
be
gonna do?
a-
Drop his album?
Yeah.
What's he gonna like?
Well, he's doing a tour
Right.
right now. Him,
oh
Jada,
yeah, him, Jada, and
Cameron.
Cam. Yeah.
And him and Cameron had beef for years.
Really?
But they finally squashed it, and now they're doing a tour and they're doing an album together.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
like an EP or album.
Oh really? I didn't
Jada,
know that.
Cam
yeah, Jada,
and
Cam,
Mace.
And Mace. Yeah.
So I feel like that probably is just like a ploy to like get some coverage going on him again with this kind of talk.
Right.
But you never know. It's always two sides to a story. And Mace is one of those people that always got receipts.
Right.
So if he say, did he owe him I'm sure he's gonna come back with these receipts to show, like, yo, this you owe me from this, you owe me from that. He was basically saying from tours. When he first came out, they were doing tours, but they weren't like getting paid. They were doing promo, and promo is free.
Right.
So you ain't getting paid. It's an opportunity.
Right.
So like, you got a single out. All right, this is your opportunity to promote the single, make it pop up, and then you'll get paid.
Which helps you get paid more.
You know what I'm saying?
So you have to have that perspective.
You got to look at it as just one of those things. You got to take losses to make big wins. Sometimes those little things are like
minor setbacks.
You know what I'm saying? Just for the end goal. Like if you always plan the end goal, that little stuff right there, it's just like, yeah, that's cool, but we gonna get paid big bucks down the line. It's just a stepping stone, you know?
Right. But then people get greedy when they look back at money and they're like, oh shit, Diddy made 500 million or so, right? Or like close to being a fucking billionaire probably. Like I, didn't see $1 million or something, or 3 million to Mace is not 3 million to Diddy.
Right.
Like you said. So it's like, of course Mace gonna fight for that 3 M's, right? But like,
well,
Diddy,
like now he's come like, but it was his choice though, kind of, right? Like
basically, you could have said no to the free promo.
No. Well, he could have not just retired, basically.
Oh yeah, basically, I just feel like when you do things, it always has, it's consequence almost. It's like whatever you do, it has some kind of a
repercussion.
You know what I'm saying? So with you retiring at the height of your career, what do you think is gonna happen?
Right.
You think
You're
Diddy's just gonna like, okay, yeah, go ahead, start your church.
Right.
No, you owe me. Like you have to pay back.
Right.
Even though we friends, our agreement states that we're supposed to make.
Yeah, that's some real shit.
We're supposed to generate this amount that we're supposed to do. It's a business, music business. At the end of the day, business. That word is like the biggest word. Cause the music shit you could do in your sleep, but it's the business side that's gonna keep you around for a long time.
Right, and people definitely, I think, in terms of music business and friendship, it is like really hard. You know, I know he's gone through it. I've gone through it. It's tough, The lines get blurred so fast,
As soon as you see the dollars
coming in. That's why I'm a big fan of, like, not being in the music industry again, though, is, like, just throwing a piece of paper down. You're my homie. Let's sign this. Let's put it on. Let's document it. Like, I respect a handshake deal as much as the next person, but I feel like just putting more shit in writing is, like, what I try. Yeah.
Because that can go so far. Be like, yeah, we homies and we make an agreement, but as soon as something goes south, it changes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like that handshake never existed.
Yeah.
And they be like, oh, we never had an agreement together, but yes, we did. We went to this place. You can give details of where we were and who was there.
Yeah.
And, it's just really a fine line when it comes to that. But with business, you always got to be on. From my experience, you always got to just be on it. No matter if it's a friend or not a friend, you just got to be on your business, because it's just the worst feeling when you like when you're just in a worse situation and you don't know what the fuck, like, what to do or how to come back from the situation. But it's all learning experiences too. You gotta like fail in order to be like super successful, to learn from your mistakes to get greater, So
real shit.
Yeah, and I think in terms of like the handshake versus the contract argument, I agree with what you're saying. Like, I think putting more in writing is good and great, but would you even write a contract with somebody you didn't even trust, right?
Well, honestly, I used to, like, for the first like 30 podcasts I did, I had everybody sign a contract. Like, this is my content forever. Then I got more chill about it. Right. But now I'm like, I kind of want to get back on that level. Like, I've never had anybody talk beef or start any drama with me, but I always just wanted to own everything.
Right.
Because I was putting in the work. I was paying all the money. I was producing everything. And I had the contract to back up my back because I'm talking about cannabis. And in my head, I'm like, I never know what this person might think of cannabis 10 years from now.
That's true.
Right.
Maybe they all of a sudden have a new wife, a new kid, and they want to take my shit down. Or they want to. Then that's why I did it. But then I took a step back, and I'm more on the handshake deals. But I guess I'm saying that because I want to hop back into just because at the end of the day, I respect somebody. You want me to sign this, bro? You put in all the work, I'll sign this. Like, you're producing this whole album. You want me to do a vocal on it, whatever. I'm talking my ass, obviously, but I'll sign this because you let me in your circle real quick.
Right. I think it's like, look, like with Underground and any agreement we do with any artist, business, brand, whatever, they sign something. Absolutely. but I'm not gonna do anything with them if I don't even think that if I'm trying to explain something to them and I don't think they're receptive of that, and if I don't think they can keep their word and stuff, then I'm not even gonna do it in the first
Yeah,
place.
it's not worth your
No
time.
waste your time.
So I think like anybody that I would make a handshake agreement with is somebody that I would do a contract with, and vice versa. I think you do the contract to solidify a business on a certain level, right? I'm just giving you an example. If you have your podcast and you have a guest come and sign their rights to say that you had them on there or not, whatever, you put out the podcast and it only gets X amount of growth based on whether it's your podcast or based on whether it's their level of notoriety, let's say. If no one sees it, it doesn't even matter whether you signed it or not, right? You get what I'm saying? So
Well, that's where I'll
It's-
disagree though,
uh
because I think the signing isn't necessarily about it's not about the eyeballs that are going to see it. It's more about like a man.
ownership.
It's more about just a deal, a man-to-man deal or a man-to-woman deal. It's more about the deal than what's going to happen afterwards to me.
Yeah.
right.
Your word.
Right. Exactly. And I guess I just say that to say, like, it's the same on both. And if I could trust your word, then I'm going to sign the contract with you, and then vice versa. But I think that when it comes to what does that paper mean, you only need the signed contract if you're going to take someone to court. If you're going to pursue legal action. Why would you pursue legal action? Because there's money that's made, right? So it's like, am I going to sign a contract with the photographer for Underground? Yes, right? If that's what we're going to do. But if they don't follow their word, what am I going to take them to small claims court for $500? You get what I'm saying? It's
No,
like,
I'm following you. I get what you're saying. I do, but I guess where I'm coming from is like even the act of signing it shows me that you like actually are down with it too.
for sure.
All
Like, you're
parties agree.
absolutely
Yeah.
serious, right? More than just willing to.
No, I fuck with,
For
and
sure.
like I'm saying, like, dude, I've been doing more and more style handshake shit, and I fuck with that. But I just, at the end of the day, I guess what I'm saying is like, what could it hurt to have a signature on something?
Of course.
It can't hurt anything. It's a
true.
peace of mind. You throw it in your safe, you never have to look at it again. Whatever.
But when you have to get those receipts, you can always go in the safe and pull it out,
Right.
just in case one day somebody tries to like play crazy. Like,
Right.
no, I got a signature from you. You were there. You signed this
Exactly.
on this date, and that's all you need. And they'll be quiet from there.
Right. Like, if you have a person that comes on here and they're coming up in the game, and then 10 years from now, 5 years from now, they're huge, and you want to say, oh, I had Drake on my podcast, but Drake's like, I didn't sign anything. You're like, no, you did
No,
sign
you
something right
did.
here. This is my content. I can put it out now, 10 years from now, whenever.
Well,
Right.
and I
So-
feel like that's what I'm vibing to with what you're saying is like, I would also be like cool with that too. Like if anybody that I've ever had on, and like, dude, I have a small podcast, it's not even like that. Like, but like if anybody hit me up personally, is like, yo, can you please take it down? I'd be like, 100%. I'll delete it. I got you. Like, even if it was popping, like, but there's something nice about having that
Security.
that in place. And you know, it's for other stuff too. Just like I would do it with, I just feel like it never hurts. And,
Yeah.
it adds a level of like professionalism too, where it's like, okay, this is legit.
And it's a good habit to get into.
Yeah.
Because it's like, maybe we write a contract to make an agreement for a small business deal, and like you said, maybe that doesn't go well, and it's not even worth going to small claims court, let's just say. But if it's a big deal and it grows into a bigger deal, you know, then you want to have that, you know, and then you do have something to back you up in terms of the law and all that. So it's just something to think about. It's just something to be aware of, right? It's like, even in terms of music, when you're in the studio, like, technically you should always be writing like split sheets, like every session. Like, if there's like a real record label session and Charlie gets called in to be like a songwriter for something, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, they'll have him sign whether it would be like a split or like an NDA or like just different type of things. But let's say I just meet Charlie for the first time and I get him in the studio and we're catching a vibe and we just met. Am I gonna ask bro to sign a split sheet? He's gonna be like,
What the fuck?
you don't fuck with me? Like, you
Right.
think that I'm not good for my word? So it's like
No,
about
no,
like
respect to that.
feeling
too.
the vibe. You gotta
It
know
just
when and
depends,
where,
because
right?
I would look at it more now. Back then, I probably be like, "Yo, what they on? We just making a song. Like, why am I saying?" But now I get it. I would be like, "All right, they about their business. This is gonna be something. You know, they got me signing shit. This is for real.
They're
for real.
official.
You know, they're official. So I ain't gotta question nothing when it's coming out. I already know everything's in writing. I like that more so now because it's a more official. But I've had situations, where I've done sessions with people and songs come out and then like I'm left out the picture,
Right.
and it's like I'll be like, I knew I should have had splits.
So you've had songs come out where like you're on it and you haven't in there.
A couple songs that came out, I had to like my lawyer had to be like a shark and make it happen to where I get my fair cut of things, and it's very tricky. You'll be in a session and like for instance, we in a session right now and like all three of us is writing on this record, and you two get together and say, you know what, we just gonna cut him out. We ain't gotta split the pie with him. We had just write, say we wrote everything, and then like if we two stick together, it makes him look like he just making it up. And
Right.
that's the kind of situation I've had where like the two other writers I co-write with, they'll get together because they're friends, and they'll say, well, he didn't write anything. We'll just cut him out. And then I have to be like, no, that's not true, because I have receipts. I have video. I have all of us writing together.
Yeah, and that's
I have voice memo.
Right.
So that's how I was
You have
able
lyrics
to.
from this day, like
my
just all sorts
and
of
it's
shit.
time stamped on my notepad
Right.
app that I use too.
Right.
So you just always gotta protect yourself and make sure you're, you got your receipts ready just in case that day comes when they try to play crazy. Like in my case, yes, my lawyer was ready. I sent him over everything, and he was like, "Well, we have this, we have that,"
Yeah.
and they had to be like, "Well, okay, we're gonna cut him in and give him this." And I was like, "No, you're gonna get me.
Give me
We're gonna split this shit down
yeah.
3 ways like we originally planned to do."
Right.
And with that happening, it even made them not want to release the record, which is another thing.
Oh damn, yeah, that's a whole.
You know what I'm saying? So you
fucking-
complain, and then they be like, "Oh, this is too much going on." The label be like, "We just not gonna drop the record, just shelve it." So they won't even
Right.
put it out. But in that case, particular record, they did eventually drop it, but that was 2 years later,
Right.
after all of that shit happened. But
Crazy.
the music industry is wild, man.
Well, that's crazy that because, from the film space, like that you hear that all the time. That's people just buying scripts and shelving them. It's crazy that came out 2 years later. Like I wonder how common that is. Is that pretty
Oh,
common in the music
it's
game? It's like
it's
3
pretty
years, 4
common.
years later, all of a sudden,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
so you could. I guess that's probably because I think about that a lot with Dr. Dre.
Oh yeah.
With it says he has these thousands of songs recorded, so he basically has songs with these so many people that he could potentially drop at any point, right? He probably
yeah.
has them. It's a contract thing, so he just is sitting on a fucking mountain of fucking.
He's a perfectionist.
Yeah.
That shit ain't
that's the
coming out
difference.
if he ain't fucking with it.
but
no
he could have
what.
songs from like
catalogs of
yeah
songs.
just
He's definitely got unreleased 50M game.
yeah, that's crazy.
For
there was a
sure.
that's
there's
so
stories of
crazy,
people-
dude. That's
yeah.
absurd.
There's stories of people saying, "Oh yeah, I went to the studio. I was there with Dre, and we worked on like these songs.
Detox.
We did all this.
Right.
Detox never
And he's just
came
sitting
out.
on
Right.
it. Yeah, he's just sitting on this fucking heat.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, even I'm sitting on a ton of heat. I know he's sitting on a ton of heat. It's just like common people. And it's like we are so creative. We're cooking so much. I can't put out as much music as I make.
it's
You
true.
know, and I don't even want to because I'm just constantly in a flow. Like, so everybody's sitting on music. It's such a funky thing. But yeah, like,
As an artist, you're always creating.
yeah.
Creating something, whether it's gonna be released or not. Now that's the other portion of it. But you're always making something, especially if you got like these ideas in your head, you just want to get them out. It's the craziest thing for an artist. You make the album, boom. When you sign to a major, you do the album, bam, it's out. You already know what's next. You're going on tour, bam.
Right.
When you're on tour, some people record while they're still on the road, and some people just don't. But they got hella material that they already have, albums worth that's lined up. They just get it packaged together, do photo shoots, and then bam, next thing you know, another album's coming out. But you don't know that all these songs, 3 of these albums recorded all in the same time frame, but they just split in half and put out.
Even Nas talked
Oh,
about
bam.
like on a lot of like the older stuff that it was like older or newer stuff that it was older records coming out with it.
Like Lost Tapes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, Lost
the
Tapes.
Book of
he had-
Rhymes shit.
I was like, damn, he got shit from this era that he never put out.
Right.
I'm like, yo, I need to get in his hard drive and see what's going on. 'Cause
The Lost Tapes 2 you're
Right?
talking about? Yeah, that
Yeah.
shit was crazy. The
I
Art
was
of
like,
War.
yo, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And I know he got joints now that he ain't even put out still. That's just like,
Right. Think about all the songs him and Hit have that didn't come out. It's crazy.
that's insane.
That's the crazy thing about it too, right? It's what I think about is like it's cool to have, or for I feel like music's different because it can be transcending more beyond the years, more than a lot of visual or like film stuff in ways. But it's also like the interesting thing is like a lot of music I feel like is, you know, talking to the times. So if it can transcend the time, is super cool that you can put it. I feel like that's the stuff that's in the bank, that like, because it's like if you're talking about anything else, it's it has to be relevant for all time, right? To be able to worth putting in the bank.
Yeah, facts.
That's a fact.
That's the goal. For real.
I don't know. It's getting deep. I'm enjoying this conversation. We'll and honestly, this last little bit though about like everything we're just talking about, I feel like is super dope, super valuable.
Yeah, it's good for
anybody that
people to
tunes in,
hear.
yeah. And I'm even probably gonna clip that up because that was like almost 2 hours in. So like I feel like that was some raw shit though. But I appreciate you guys coming over again.
Hey,
yeah.
appreciate you for
Thank
having
you,
us,
brother.
yo.
It's
For
been
real,
real.
man.
Appreciate you guys.
No, for sure. Appreciate
We'll
you.
do round 2 for sure.
Let's go.
Yeah,
Hey, we got to
okay.
do a whole Nas segment.
I know.
For real.
Break down his albums and shit. We could do it. Like,
Yo, I'll film you guys. You guys can have these shares. I'll be the guy with the
Let's
camera.
go.
Let's do it.
Shit.
That
Let's
was hard that
go.
we got
Appreciate
it.
you guys.
No, for
Likewise,
sure,
G.
man.
That's hard, bro.